And today I have here with me the one, the only Juliana Heng.
Hi.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Juliana is a local stand-up comic, and she's known as one of those people who is at every single open mic. If there is a mic standing around somewhere, Juliana will be in front of it, and it's a testament to like how hard you work, lah. Yeah.
Like right now.
True enough, there was a mic here and she found it. Yeah. So, Juliana, how have you been during this whole period? How have you been keeping on? You've been keeping busy. I've been seeing you're sharing like list of like open mics from all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, what I did was, of course, at first I was a bit like stunned because live performances were cancelled. And there's a lot of things that we have in the pipeline. And apparently a lot of us think that today, 2020 is like our year.
Yeah.
Like we are going to just chong and then just get things done. And then I'm also in the midst of I actually plan to do a fringe in August for Edinburgh. But the thing is, somehow when this lockdown all happened, of course, I was a bit stunned. I say that everything has been held back and it's a bit, you get a bit like thrown off, like displaced.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what to do. But the thing is, somehow I actually stumbled upon an online mic. But that online mic is not a comedy mic. It's actually a poetry mic.
Okay.
So they are actually based in Makati, Philippines. So I actually went there and just do my poetry, read my poems. And it was like, okay, although I feel like it is never the same because you don't have mic, you don't have all the stage. You are sitting down. Myself, I'm just sitting down in the room. And the room is also, the lighting also cacat sikit one.
Yeah.
So it's like, everything is like, it's not perfect. But the thing is, it opens up a possibility for me to like say, oh, actually we can perform online. Yeah? We can perform online and we can actually perform to people that we have not seen before in Malaysia. Because these people that I met, they are all from Philippines. So logically, if let's say I want to be there, I have to fly. Yeah. But now I don't need. I just need to tune into the Zoom and then, hey, I'm already in Philippines.
Did you have to like tweak your material because of like the different countries that the mics were in?
Yes, I do. I usually tweak the material at least to address because the thing is, Malaysia is not a very famous country. I have to admit that. It's like
famous. we had the great 1MDB thing that brought us worldwide attention, but after that we didn't really follow up lah.
It's like nothing much. So the thing is, you have to find a close reference in their place. So I have to tell people like I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I have to tell them that in your place it is, for example, US Detroit.
Okay.
So I have to find an equivalent. Sometimes I do research, but sometimes research are also not very updated. So the best thing is to actually ask a local comedian there, like what is the city where it is have that kind of reputation. Then they will tell you immediately this is the city. It's pretty fun, yeah.
How is the vibe different though, doing the online versus the normal live open mics? Like not just the pros, but also like the cons as well, the pros and the cons of each.
So the pros of performing online is, as I said, you can actually be in another place performing to a different group of audience, or even performing in places that you actually want to do. Like for example, Flappers Comedy Club. It's like you wanted to like audition, but in real life, a lot of us, we have to fly there and we not for at this point of time.
Yeah, not even just flight, applying for the visa.
We can't really just go there like that. But since with the online mic, we can just hello and then just tune in and just do the audition, perform in their show, and it's pretty cool. And the second thing is the networking. I felt that the networking is great because I can actually meet many comedians. And let's say next time I want to go and travel, even not just for comedy, maybe just travel for holiday. I can actually talk to some of them and say that, hey, what can I do? Can you recommend me a cheap place to stay? Those kind of stuff. So at least you have some friends, like say international connection, and this is what I like actually. But the cons, the cons is that you need to have very good internet, which I don't.
Okay.
So every time I have to actually go to somebody's house to go and borrow internet. It's
dang.
Yeah, because it's like there are times I actually perform using my own hotspot, especially StreamYard. I always have a bit like no feng shui with the StreamYard. Every time perform halfway, cannot hear me. They cannot hear me.
Yeah.
Or either suddenly I get cut.
You'll be doing just fine, and then the moment your punchline comes,
Gone.
Yeah, start for
So
3
it's
seconds.
like start for 3 seconds. After I continue the punchline, nobody hear.
Yeah,
So it's like, that's why I say in this era, the one who owns the good internet is God. It's like, oh, so that's why I have to actually go to, I mean, luckily I'm staying very close to a friend's house who has fairly okay internet, so I will every time go to her place to perform, to use her internet lah. I mean, she invited me, so it's fine. And there are some is like even 100 Mbps or so. I think it's not really good if let's say you want to do long hour streaming, like the YouTube live and all.
It really depends on like the network traffic and all this kind of stuff. A lot of things at play. Sometimes the neighborhood. I mean, we've all experienced that thing, right? Where like certain hours in your house, the internet is better compared to certain hours because everybody's just home and they're just using it, right?
So it's so bad that I think I actually performed one of my 1 hour show. I think I got cut by 7 minutes. The sound just disappeared.
Wait, you had a 1 hour slot?
No. It's actually my fringe, the one that I do
okay.
where I do comedy, poetry, and also storytelling. So what I did was I performed, but the time I think it's the first day, so nobody actually watched it. It's only like one person, but that one person does not have any question, didn't hear me, and then I'm performing like quietly for 1 hour. You know, it's like that means technically I'm only talking to my laptop alone.
Wow.
And it was like, how come they never tell me, you know, the kind of thing that they can't hear. And then I was quite frustrated that day, and after that Abby actually asked me, come to my place lah, maybe your internet is not strong enough to support, that's why they cut the sound. So it's quite frustrating, and I actually have to drive to his house about 10 km to use his internet.
You performed for an hour, but 7 minutes in, it was already cut.
And then, but the thing is, there's no feedback because I did ask them like, hey, you can interact with my YouTube live, you know, that kind of thing. Can just send a message.
So,
if you can't hear me,
so your connection was still working?
That time still working, but the moment 7 minutes cut, the video runs, you know, but sound tada.
Oh,
so I was
so
like,
all like the people were just looking at you doing your thing without sound.
Yeah, and do drama.
Gosh.
You know, it's like, then that's why I was like quite startled by that, and I straight away take. Although I don't really want to drive to somebody's house to purposely perform, walking boleh lah. Tapi when asked me to go all the way drive 10 km to another person's place to perform, a bit mafan lah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, this is terrible. But at least at his place, his internet, he actually invested in a very good internet infrastructure. So of course, no problem.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's why I say internet is really God. If let's say you don't have good internet, that's it. You, no matter how good you are as a performer or comedian, you are screwed lah, really.
In this day and age, right? Yeah.
Yeah, gone, man. It's like, doesn't matter. Nobody can hear you. And another thing is you need to have quite good tech requirement if let's say you really want to do online stuff, because sometimes if let's say the lighting is bad, it's like you look like as though you're a vampire, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a few of those like virtual mics and shows, and yeah, it did, instead of feeling like you're watching a performance or a show, it feels like you're watching like some very awkward webinar thing from their like a Zoom call from home. Everyone's in like,
and then they are wearing like
most people don't even bother to dress up, which is, you know,
and all doing sit down only. I mean, the time I perform, I think for most of my performance, I'm actually sitting down on my mattress only and put my handphone against my jigsaw puzzle box. That's all. It's very simple setup. And one more thing that is not really good, the cons lah, is audience reaction. Your audience reaction is like, it's quite, especially for me to do an hour of the fringe show. I mean, there are some comedians who were like saying, it's remarkable, you can actually perform to a laptop without any reaction for an hour, and there's no one to reply back.
Yeah.
There's no one to reply back, no one to react. I have to imagine that there is an audience there looking at it, listening, you know, and assume their reaction in a way.
Oh gosh.
So it's kind of sucky lah. But if let's say there is a Zoom mic where you can actually hear some laughter, then that's fine. But the thing is, when you're dealing with an online audience, it's very difficult because you're actually dealing with attention. Because these people, when they are at a live show, even if they find you boring, not funny or anything, they can still like, they tolerate lah, because it looks bad on them to like tune into their phone, look at their phone, or either say, I want to walk out now, because it looks bad on them.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, in the Zoom room, that doesn't apply. For them, they can just mute themselves, they can just turn off their camera, they can actually go and browse some other thing. Maybe they are listening to you, but they just...
Yeah, they can leave everything on, but then be like...
Or either they can go
Google,
toilet and all, do whatever. everything, and then come out, still on, yeah, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you're actually dealing with somebody's attention span. And unfortunately, with the digital age, attention span is not what a lot of people have today.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough. So, like, and it's so tricky, right? Because with the whole using a webcam, performing to a webcam thing, you know, what I saw a lot of people doing was like, you know, literally just stand in front of the webcam as... Because, okay, the comparison I'm trying to draw here is that if you were on stage, you'll be moving about a bit, you'll be looking at different sides of the room and all that kind of stuff, right? But suddenly when it's to webcam, everyone just goes into this frozen cubicle thing and they don't move from that.
Yes.
Which I found really weird. So
Yeah.
in a recent show I did, I noticed that when I did like my live streams and all that. So what I started doing was like, you know, like you play to the camera lah. So sometimes like certain things you just go up front to the camera. Just, you know.
Yeah, you do the special effect.
Yeah. Not even for like for voice sake or whatnot. Just go up to the camera just for something visual. It's like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think that's the one that is very useful. In fact, I think this is actually one of the very important realization I have when I actually perform to a camera. Because I realized that when you are performing to an audience, you don't see your own face.
Yeah.
So when you don't see your own face, and myself when I perform, I tend to rely a lot on just joke, but I did not really use my facial expression much.
Mm-hmm.
But when I actually saw myself on camera, I was like, holy shit, you know, like, how come I don't even have any expression? And the thing is, I started to learn how to use a bit of expression. And I think that's a very good lesson because it does make a bit of difference in delivery. Like, you emphasize a certain point, then you maybe make your eyes a bit wider.
Yeah.
Those kind of stuff. Because these are stuff that I'm not aware when I'm doing live show.
Yeah.
Real life. Because I'm only seeing audience face. I don't see my own face. And when I see my own face, I was like, oh my god, it's like I'm just like very expressionless. I don't have much emotion and all, which is not bad, but with the emotion, it brings your point much more clearer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think that is the only good lesson that I actually learned from performing to a camera. Because you're seeing yourself, you're like, oh my god, this is how I look like on camera. You know.
Every ugly detail or
and the
every
thing
lovely
is,
detail is
even, like-
all there for you to see.
And
Yeah.
even like I say, my hairstyle also for live performance is fine, you know. But
Yeah.
for Zoom, you have to make sure you put your
You
frame.
fit-
Because if you don't, I will look like the Ang from the Airbender. Last Airbender.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Imagine guys with mohawk and then like,
Cannot.
so I didn't know you shaved your head. I didn't. I just couldn't fit. Didn't fit on camera. I was like, oh.
Yeah, actually that's very true.
Yeah.
It's like live performance is like everyone can see you, but when you're confined to the frame, you say, "Ayo, I this hairstyle like not fit lah."
Yeah.
You know? Because you have to make sure that
If I want to fit my hair, I have to put the camera further away.
and whether can people hear me or not, that's another thing. Or either they can't see, especially when sometimes I use eyeliner. It's like I'm very greedy lah. I want them to see my eyeliner. I also want them to see my hair.
Yeah.
So it's like if I stay far away, they can see my hair, but they can't. They can't see my eyeliner. You know, those kind of stuff. I was like, this is hilarious. It's like the balance of it.
That's why you gotta do like what the wrestlers do. When you put makeup, you like it's like really like, you know, like 2 inches of eyeliner. You know. Oh, man.
It's really funny.
Oh. All right, so this how many mics have you been doing on average? And
Good luck.
I want to ask a week, but I think a day would be a
Okay, I will say about 2 to 3 because I will say that this is also my personal maximum threshold and also my technological device threshold because these are all devices that need to be charged.
Yeah.
Because if I do a whole day, there are many mics. Some people, I know some of the Americans, they actually did up to 5 or 6. They can. They actually very zealous.
Yeah, because I think
yeah.
like, you know, we all hear the stories over here. We all hear the stories about like the New York comics who hit like Ronnie
Crazy.
Cheng do like 6 mics a
Yes.
night on average, and that's
normal.
like that's
the
a normal
minimum.
night. Yeah.
So for them, it's like, but the thing is, you have to either have like both devices are fully charged and all. But the thing is, my laptop and my phone they are like hungry baby lah. You know, like
Aiyo.
like for a while only 40% already. Your battery kena change. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have to put them on charging. But also personally for myself, it's not healthy to stay on so long online because assuming every mic, the minimum is 1 hour. So if I do 3 mics in the day, I'm actually spending 3 hours on screen, looking at the screen,
Yeah.
listening on the headphone, which is not very healthy actually.
Yeah, and we gotta remember like when the comics in the States they do 6 mics, right? They're not going there watching the first performer and then perform and then stay until the last
No, they
performer.
don't. They just join and
Go
then they
in.
weave in and out.
Yeah, they weave in and out. So
Yeah.
with the online mics,
They also weave.
yeah, but I think you were saying that not all of them will allow you to just weave in and out,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
they have ground rules because they also don't want like you just go in and then do your stuff and then you get off. Poor thing, especially the comics at the end, they will have no one to support them. Yeah, it's like only like maybe the host, maybe the last few that are around that time.
Yeah.
And the rest are all like, bye, I'm in another mic, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
gosh.
some of them, they will put a ground rule like, hey, we actually spend time to listen to you, to tune in, we give you the attention. Because when you actually open your camera and open your mic, you're actually laughing for others, you're giving them attention. Because what they say is, we also give you the attention, so it's only fair you do the same. So you cannot just weave in and out. But if let's say you disagree, they already say it up front. If you disagree with that, don't sign up. Just don't sign up. And you can go to those that are 40 people one, then that one, no problem. It's like you can weave in and out because the host also don't have time to count. Like, so many ships, like, how to count.
I mean, fine. If it's like a 10-act lineup, 10 to 15-act lineup, 3 to 5 minutes each, okay lah. And provided the host is not long-winded, right? In and out, round robin style, pop,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
done. But when you get those, like, you were telling me about those like 40 performers, 5 minutes each, and the host goes up after every single one of them, that is, whoa, that's not an open mic, man. That is some kind of like marathon event already.
Yeah, I actually did one in Australia. It's an Australian mic, but after that I didn't come back again because I'm too tired. It's 3 hours. It's like, but the thing is, the host kind of like played a bit too long. That means although there are not so many performers, say we have about 15, but the host keep coming in and then he just talk. He doesn't even tell jokes that time. So he just talk about things that are happening around in Australia. The thing is, it becomes very draggy.
Yeah.
It's like, end up, it's like, myself is like, I say, never mind lah, I don't, I mean, it started 4 o'clock that time. I say, tapa lah, I don't think I need to eat tea time. I think by 6 should be over, so I can have my dinner.
Yeah.
7:30 only finish. I say, perut lapar lah, that kind of thing. So that's the only problem. But the thing is, I think 3 is the maximum I personally can do. But if let's say they tell me that, we pay you US dollar, that one I'm like, okay, I won't mind taking another one, I won't mind taking another one, but after that, I have to let go. Sometimes it comes to a point where I may have to let go of gigs. If let's say I have like maybe 2 paid in a day, and one more is just an open mic, I will have to drop the open mic because I cannot focus anymore.
But were there like paid gigs, like virtual paid gigs during this period?
They do have, but more of it are like bucket split. Bucket split is like maybe they ask the audience to like donation in a common account.
Yeah.
They have like their own comedy clubs, PayPal lah, something like that, or Venmo in US. So what they do is people will just chip in $1, $2, $3. Maybe if let's say hopefully they can get a decent amount like 50 USD, and then they'll just split among the 10 comics. You get $5 lah, which is in Malaysia ringgit is decent,
Yeah, it's alright.
It's like you can go and buy some nice grocery and cook at home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like not bad actually.
And before this whole COVID MCO thing started, like, I think you're quite fortunate because you actually managed to get to the UK, right? Wow.
Yeah.
If it was a few months later,
no chance lah. Or either cannot come back. That's the worst thing.
it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I think I need to be an illegal worker already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a refugee.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I cannot go back, you cannot just send me back to Malaysia now,
But okay, how was the trip to the UK like though? How was the...
Oh, it was really good. For me, what I did was early morning because the time it was winter. So winter by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, everything will be dark. So if you want to take photos and all, you better crawl up early.
Yeah.
Crawl up early, go to the attractions and then take photos. Everything. Since it's a solo trip, so I'm actually going myself. I just Google up locations and then take the train. And then just go. In the morning is always to just go for sightseeing. But that is also a way for me to go into central London because I'm actually when I was staying with a friend that time, it was in East London.
Okay.
So to get from East London to central London is an hour actually.
Oof.
And I also walk in the winter. Oh, good luck. It was like 20 minutes walk from the home to the station. And after that, I will have to take the train ride. But the first train that connects to central London is not reliable. So that is a bit of a like heartache lah, like you are saying that, if I miss this, I have to wait for another 10-15 minutes, the kind of thing. But once you enter central London, the train is actually not bad. It's every 2 minutes it comes.
So it's like crossing from Malaysia to Singapore lah.
Yes, essentially it is like that. So
But,
it's
okay,
like,
but
yeah,
there was quite a fair bit of drama for you to get to the UK because it was like you were going there for Britain's Got Talent,
yeah.
right? And um, I remember you were doing like there was like fundraisers, there was like all
Yeah.
kinds of things. Can you tell? Could you share a bit
What
more
I
of that?
did was because I know that yes, they say that you are welcome for our audition.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to go to UK, it's not like you need to at least have, I will say personally lah, about 10,000 ringgit, because you convert is the minimum. Because the thing is, when you go to UK immigration as well, okay, but fortunately they did not ask me how much I have.
Okay.
Because there are immigration officers who will ask you how much is in your money, your bank balance. Because if they see that you only have like say £500, if let's say you say I'm staying for 1 month, £500, and they were like, I don't think you're here for holiday.
I don't think you're staying here for a.
I think we are going to send you back.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm gonna send you back.
So the thing is, I say that I say I need at least a certain amount of money to be able to pass the immigration side lah. You know, I think that it's a bit tricky, and also the living expenses in UK is not cheap.
Yeah.
It's like everything is like, the best thing is to actually eat in. It's like you just buy some food from all the Sainsbury, all the grocery shop, and then cook at home lah. Because if let's say you go out, and with our Malaysian ringgit, you have to switch off your conversion machine lah.
Yeah, because
If not,
otherwise
you go there, you cry.
you just cry and you just get a heart attack every transaction you do.
You know, it's like you cry because it's so expensive. And the thing is, because the thing is, if you already spend so much of money for the flight ticket alone, it's about, the time I remembered that the flight ticket was about 3.5k. So if let's say you just go there 2-3 days, then it's sayang only lah. It's like, and it's also half a globe, you know. It's like it's a 14 hours to ride, 14 hours flight.
It's not exactly Penang lah. It's not like you go from KL to Penang one day,
it's
day
like,
trip kind of thing. Yeah.
Cannot lah. So that's why I say that I won't. But the thing is, I can only stay there if I can find a house to stay. That means like someone who house me, and I won't mind doing the household chores for them, taking care of the pets or anything. Because I say, if let's say I want to stay in the hotels and all, or either even just the hostel, it's also very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So for me, I say that's why I'm also asking people in UK whether can anyone just spare me a spare room. It doesn't matter, I'm small size. You give me a couch, I'm also happy. That's what I did for a few of my trips as well. Because for me, I say that, and I will help you. Let's say you are too busy with clearing the dishes, or just you need someone to just wipe the floor off and all, clean the toilet off and all. I'm more than happy to do all this stuff. Because as long as I have a roof over my head during that period of time, then okay lah. I mean, I managed to find a place to stay. And it was quite serendipitous, I would say, because that time, there's this comedian, his name is Travelogue. He actually headlined Kuala Lumpur before. So the time I did ask him, because that time I thought I actually found an accommodation, but that person ghosted me after that.
Oh,
It's like 1 week before my flight, you know. It's like I actually texted her, no reply. And her place is actually quite cool because it's central London.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I texted, hey, any news, you know, like anything, like can we talk more? Where's your address?
Gosh.
And she did not reply. Until today, she did not reply anything. So I was like, then I actually have a friend whom I met in Ipoh. She's the one she stays in UK. So she asked me, Juliana, can I have the address of the place you're staying? I told her I haven't got the address yet. The person have not replied me yet. And she's like, Juliana, your flight is next week.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you will have trouble with the immigration because you need an address. And I was like damn, you know. But the only person that I remember I have connection that time with, I know a UK comedian, which is Travelogue. So I texted him. I said that I heard that you have a place in London. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's renovation or not. You just let me. I mean, at least I have a place to stay.
Yeah.
He said that the thing is, I'm also not in that house because it's so renovated to the point that I also cannot go in as the house owner.
Oh gosh.
So I'm actually in my family's home, my father's home actually. So I was like, okay, so like that, damn it lah. So but the thing is, he told me, Juliana, don't worry. What you can do is send me a message. I will post it on my social media. So happened his own friend from Sweden actually picked up that message, and he actually texted his girlfriend, and his girlfriend is the one who texted me.
Wait, so you go through Travelogue, which is like, okay, someone you know lah. It's not like a lifelong friend. It's just someone you know, and then he doesn't have a place, so he forwards it online.
Correct.
Open to the social media world. No, didn't tag anyone in particular.
Yeah.
And this Swedish guy, which is his friend, And he doesn't do it. He directs it to his girlfriend. Oh gosh.
Yeah. And so happened his girlfriend said that, hey, I'm actually going to Sweden.
Yeah.
Sweden for a month. I mean, actually, she's going Sweden first before going to Spain for a holiday.
Okay.
So I will be out of the house for a month. So I tell you what, if let's say you're still interested, let me know. Just private message me and I will tell you the details and all the arrangement to go to my house lah. So I was like, because the thing is, I'm also open to move every day. That means like maybe because 1 month is a long period of time. People can't just house you like that. You may have to get your butt out by first week.
Yeah.
And maybe I might have to move 3 or 4 times throughout my trip, which is very troublesome. But because she's away from the house for a month, so it's cool. It's like she tell me you can actually have the house to yourself, but make sure that you jaga the house lah. Don't like leave the light on here and there.
Don't trash it lah.
Don't trash it lah. So I say no problem. I'm very grateful for that, and I think that saves me a lot of money, and I also get to also experience UK a bit, because if you go there for maybe 2-3 days or either for only 1 week, you won't know one because you're too rushing. You don't have time to actually settle in. Because
half your time will just be spent like in layover at the airports, just waiting for your flights and all
figure
that stuff.
out how to get around. And the thing is, the first week when I reach in UK, I fall sick.
Oh.
Because the thing is, it's winter. I've never experienced winter in my whole life. It's like, that's the furthest flight in my life, furthest place. And the temperature also like...
Before UK, where was the furthest place you've been? Korea.
And Korea is also not extreme weather. It's autumn. So I was like, this is terrible. It's like the first day I reached there, it's like I'm already like shaking. Although there's no snow there, but the wind is the one that really had it.
I remember.
So like, the wind, it hits your bone.
I went to Perth once. I was working for this band at the time, and like, I like cold, right? So I'm fine like walking down the street in shorts and t-shirts, right?
Nice.
And when the wind wasn't blowing, it was like, wow, this is perfect. You got sun, but it's cool. But the moment that wind blew, right, you were like, whoa, different ball game, guys.
Yeah. And a lot of people, when they look at me, they say that I'm actually worried for you because you're so skinny.
Yeah.
So you don't have fats to actually protect you.
Yeah.
And that's very true. It's like when I go there, I'm like shaking, it's like I have to hold a hot cocoa in my head and I'm still shaking. And of course, my lung and all, they are not used to that kind of weather. Yeah. So straight away fall sick on
Did you get
the
the
next day.
skin peeling thing?
My knuckles are all cracked.
Oh.
Because the skin is so dry.
It's so dry, yeah.
I actually have to really buy like moisturizing cream. I mean, I bring some spare, but they are not strong enough. Malaysian moisturizing cream, it doesn't...
Yeah,
it's not specific weather lah.
Yeah, because our place here is like hot and humid. So the moisturizer is in the air already.
So it's very little. So the thing is, luckily I have a friend who actually tell me, she bought for me lah. She said, you have to use this. Then I like use, okay lah. But that's the only time I become so hardworking in moisturizing. because I'm not the type who moisturizes in KL. Because I'm like, I don't believe in all this stuff. For me, I feel that these are all like chemicals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I try not to use all this stuff. And over there I can't, because it's
I need
like
the
so
chemicals.
dry.
I need the chemicals.
and the thing is, my lip bleed all the time, so it's awful. It's like I really make sure that I have to have my lip gloss all. I actually bring a lot because to make sure that my lips don't crack because it's very painful. And knuckle also crack, and then also my legs also like look like old people, like got wrinkle, old people already.
Oh gosh.
So it's like I say, yo. And then the time I remember BB Kepo saw that post because I take a photo of my legs all wrinkled.
Yeah.
And then she said, moisturize, And BB, moisturize,
That's the key. That's the key to life for for Asian traveling to the UK for the first time. Just moisturize.
It's like, yo. And then the thing is, I have to like wrap up over there. So I think that is I'm not used to it because you see in KL, we want to get out of the house. You wear t-shirt, jeans out.
Yeah.
But over there, it's like you have to layer, because if you don't, you will get cold from the inside. So you have to like wear your thermal wear a normal wear. After that, wear the hoodie.
And then you have that thing where when you transition from outdoors to indoors,
you have to look for a coat hanger to hang.
Oh gosh.
Because the thing is, inside is stuffy.
Yeah.
It's like it's stuffy. You cannot just wear all your stuff and you have to take out everything. And also the thing is, another thing is at night I will actually go and check out the comedy scene there lah. That's what I do. Morning is all on holiday. At night is actually for just open micing.
So 1 month in the UK, you got ghosted 1 week before of your accommodation, and then suddenly you ended up with like a whole place to yourself for a month.
which is amazing.
It's an amazing tale.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back for part 2 with the
Yay.
one and only Juliana Heng.
Yay!
Hey everybody! If you like this podcast, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Stephen Bones Everything on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Podbean. You can find audio episodes of this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and most major platforms. Thank you for your support. Okay, let's get back to our program.
All right, and we're in for part 2. Juliana Heng with me. Okay, Juliana, you are like the first person I know who identifies as gender fluid. Could you please explain that? Because when I met you in July 2018, and that time you had like an Edna Mode haircut. It was my first open mic, seeing you there, and within what, like less than 2 years, like a lot changed. A lot changed. It feels like you found your footing, and you're starting to discover more, and you're like learning so much more, and you're kind of like finding a very strong identity for yourself right now.
Yay. Yeah, so gender fluid is actually a non-binary gender, which means that I don't identify to either female or male. So, but the thing is, this gender is not recognized yet. I think in US, only certain states, not everyone as well. So the thing is, this is considered, they can actually call it, India, they call it the third gender.
Okay.
So it is for anyone who don't identify within the binary structure. And it is possible because the thing is, although I'm assigned female, but the thing is, I don't really identify. Since young, I don't really identify fully as female. So which is why I also start feeling like I'm kind of left out even among the girlfriends. You know, when girls, they hang out together, they will play their stuff, whatever. So, but the thing is, somehow it's like I don't really fit in, because the thing is, I'm a bit boisterous, I will have to say that. Like, I speak a bit more loudly, you know, that kind of thing, and I can be quite straightforward lah. So then I don't really fit in with them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I try to hang out with the boys a bit more, the boys are like always into fight. They're always like, you know, like, you know. So it's like, I'm like, I don't think I identify into the, you know. So that's why I say that I think that I figure out I'm somewhere in the middle. But the thing is, in school, you're only taught of 2 genders. So you have to follow the one that you are assigned at birth. So you cannot really say much. And in Asia, you cannot really bring up this topic very easily. It's not easy to like just tell a random person like, hey, you know, people will think that, oh, you are pondan, you know, that kind of thing. They will just put you under an umbrella.
Yeah, I think over here it's very like people don't look at it. They just solely look at it from a physical perspective.
Yep.
Right. There's no like idea about like what's going on in the head, right?
Yep.
When it comes to a person.
Yes.
Yeah. So like but you were talking about like certain behaviors that might be learned behaviors. I mean, yes, there's always some built-in stuff to like males and females, but like we were talking about how in an airport situation, right, where a friend of ours went to one airport, you know, and apparently like the name of the airport sounds very similar to another. And then she went to the wrong one, called up her other friend, and her other friend's like, you go to the right one lah. What do you mean, what's the problem? You know? There is no problem. You know what, just go to figure out the solution lah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you brought up this thing about like how some people, you know, like a lot of boys are brought up with a more problem-solving kind of treatment.
Problem-solving thinking. So if let's say they have an issue, even though if let's say they do identify as a transgender, but because of their early years in training as how to behave like a boy, then that's how they are trained to actually, they are more assertive in person, and they are able to, like, what else do I say? They come in with a problem-solving approach when it comes to things like there's any issue. But unfortunately for people who identify as, like myself, I identify as non-binary. So the thing is, I don't identify as female, but the thing is, I'm mostly trained how to be a female.
Yeah.
So
and this is because of like childhood,
you know. And the thing is, you are asked to. So I'm as a person, I'm not very assertive. So even if I want something, I find it very hard to communicate that. And sometimes when there's any issue that land me or anything, I may look very cool from the outside, but on the inside it's like, what to do? Die, man. You know, all the voices are all inside there, like messing things up already. Because the thing is, we are not trained to be like problem solvers. So, at the beginning, because we are all trained just to be nice and pretty, like okay, just make sure that you can get married lah, like just learn how to cook and then do all the that's why they say that this is like kind of like the binary system where guys are trained to do this, females are trained to do that. So in a way, whoever who identify as like in between, they also like don't really know they have to follow what they are assigned at the beginning.
It's very like follow the majority, because that's what the majority has been doing all this while.
Yeah.
And I think it also stems from like we might be one of the first generations of Asians where like we don't have to, like, we're not dealing with wars and you know like we talk about survival, but our level of survival is not like our parents and grandparents' level of survival, right? It's very different. So like because in that respect we are like more comfortable, so I think it's because of that our generation is allowing ourselves to explore these things, to be more inclusive and accommodate more people and make everybody feel good about themselves lah,
Yes.
But I don't like bashing like the older generations and all that, because for me it really is something that moves with the times.
Yep.
What wasn't acceptable last time now is what was acceptable last time is not acceptable now.
Yep.
But I don't think it's right for us to like go back and tell the old people, hey, like even back then that was wrong and you cannot do it and you must go back and do like it's not realistic lah,
Yes.
And fact of the matter is, like, old people are generally closer to death. So certain things like, generation after generation, I do feel there will be progress.
Yeah, I think there will be difference in every generation that we experience, like all those baby boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. And after that, what is it called? Generation I,
I don't know, because like
it's
now
like nobody knows what are they called already.
Yeah, because apparently now millennials are not the youngest anymore.
We are millennials, actually?
Yeah, so we are the hated ones.
Yeah, we are the hated one, and now we are also getting older.
Yeah, so now the younger ones also, like, they have a problem with the millennials, and then I'm like, okay, but when they start growing up, will that cycle start up again?
Yeah, and then you'll be like,
yeah, because no generation the way I compare it is like no older generation appreciates the younger generation's music.
Yes. They were like, what is all this, like,
you all don't know what the good stuff is, lah.
Yeah. They were like, what the hell is this? You're listening to what? What is all this? They cannot make sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just a sign of times. But also, okay, along with the non-binary thing, like, it's also become like a big part of your comedy.
I will say that it is still something that I'm exploring, because most of my materials are actually based on autism, not really much on non-binary. I mean, I try to explore more, because at one point of time I tried, but maybe I have not found the correct way to tell it in the form of comedy at the time. Yeah. So I can feel that there is a sense of, I mean, from the audience side, it's like as though they don't care. Like, when you tell a joke, they are like, they think that it is kind of like by choice. So why do we have to empathize with you, or why do we have to sort of step into your shoes to understand your point of view?
Also, sexuality aside, sex is not a big role. Sex doesn't play like a huge part in your life, right? So it's kind of weird to constantly address sexuality, because everyone is like, because for everyone, a lot of it is sexuality goes to sex lah.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if sex is not a big thing for you,
then
your sexuality just,
what's the issue?
Yeah, what's the issue?
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's why I remember that I've spoken to a comedian before. I mean, he always sit behind and he take down notes. And he observe comics and he will jot down notes and he will advise the comics accordingly. So the thing is, what I heard from him was, do they care? It's like it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's not about joke writing. Sometimes it's about audience buy-in. It's like, do they actually buy in what you want to tell them? If let's say they don't really care about what you actually tell them, then they will not be invested to listen, no matter how good the joke is.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even the fact that, like, it's not like they don't care about it as a human being, but it's like, it's just not on the radar at times.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, that's your thing. I'm fine. There's no real issue there. Like, what's the problem? Yeah.
So, and another thing is also what the people say, comedy, you need to have hostility.
Yeah.
So the thing is, even personally, I don't really have a lot of clashes on my own identity. I mean, I do have it, but then I don't feel like as though I hate being non-binary. So if you don't really have a real hostility towards something, it's very hard to actually draw comedy from there. So it's a bit harder. So I mean, I try to explore, but then I don't want to like really explore for the sake of looking for a joke. So what I want to do is, if I want to explore, I will just explore based on understanding, just like learn from other people, go for like queer meetings, just to learn from other non-binaries, like how do they feel, who are they, and how they identify, like how they think. Because again, it's like everyone is different.
Yeah.
Even though they may be non-binary, but there are so many identities, really a lot. It's like, I think, I don't really know. I mean, according to research, you can have up to 100 plus.
100 plus?
A lot. There's a lot of identities. It's just that if let's say, but they always like say, okay lah, never mind, let's just keep it all under non-binary. If you don't identify as male or female, that's it, you are non-binary. But within non-binary umbrella itself, there are like so many other type of genders. So it's like, I was like, but the thing is, I come to a point where I got a bit, after I come out, somehow you felt settled. Because
there's too many labels.
Yeah, so I said that I think non-binary would. I don't want to talk so many levels anymore.
Because I spoke to a trans woman on this show, and even she's like she herself gets like people attacking her from the trans community because they are giving like labeling extra thing, like they're breaking up into more labels now.
Yeah, it's like ting 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 ting.
Yeah, and it's getting to the point where like they were saying that, oh, you have passing privilege because from the outlook, you when people look at you, they don't question whether you are a man or woman. They just like, oh, without it's a woman.
Like,
so that's why you have passing privilege, and for them that like upsets them, and that's a privilege that you're not aware of. And I'm like, no lah, that she got lucky in that respect. I'm sure you have other things that worked out for you. Like, what's the issue here, right?
Yeah.
But your comedy, like, I remember when I first saw you perform, comedy seemed like a very, very strong emotional outlet for you as well. Like, you would always, not always lah, but you would bring up material in relation with like family issues, suicide, depression at times as well. Not to say that all that has been removed from your act, but it seems that like you've come to a different stage now. You've also started, because I distinctly remember you never really spoke about autism and all this kind of stuff, at least in 2018.
Yep.
I think it was like, what, 2019, midway?
Okay, I would say that I first started talking about it in 2019, April, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, because the thing is, I was like, I mean, I actually know that there is a possibility, because to be frank, I have not been diagnosed with it. It's just that they call it self-diagnosis.
Yeah.
But the thing is, again, I will tell you this one, self-diagnosis and formal diagnosis, there is again community or split. Like, you say that you have autism. If let's say you are more like self-diagnosis, even they themselves are like, they will sort of sideline you.
Yeah.
It's like, again, a community, like the trans woman, you have passing privilege. And I think this is also happening.
we have a paper to prove it.
Yeah.
Where's yours?
So they were also like, oh, where's yours? And they will start questioning you. But the thing is, I mean, I know that I have it when I was starting working. Because when I start working, I'm not very good with instruction, especially verbal ones.
Okay.
So, and I also realized that I'm like, it's just that I don't fit in. It's a very strange situation where I went to office to work. It's like for 2 years, I'm like still the Lone Ranger there. It's like, I mean, it's like other people, even interns, they come in like 2-3 months, they are already very good friends with the managers, the seniors, everything. And I'm like still...
So when did it start to hit you like, okay, maybe there's something different about me, and then when did you start reading up? And then
actually, my boss actually tried to tell me that, like, I think you're on the spectrum, It's like, because the thing is, you are not a dumb person. It's like, but the thing is, I noticed that you don't really socialize well. And the thing is, you're very direct. That means if I give you an instruction, you didn't read between the lines. That means you just like, like that, then just follow the instructions squarely lah. There's no thinking process in it. So, but the thing is, you have credentials, you know, you are an ACCA graduate, you know, you're like, that is considered a master level
Yeah.
qualification. So the thing is, your intelligence, I don't think has any issue, but why are you, the way you behave, the way you process things are like, it doesn't match up.
Yeah.
So it's like, but the thing is, that time when she told me, I was very angsty about it. I was like, I mean, I know that there is a possibility because I do read up stuff. But the thing is, I still don't want to, because I don't want to like sort of like go and
To hear it, right?
hear
to hear
it,
it,
you
and
know, to really read up. I said that no, I'm not like those people, because the thing is, again, stereotype lah. We will think that we watch the Rain Man. It's like, I'm not that person, you know. I mean, I cannot count the matchstick 246 on the floor. I'm not that kind of 7.
Yeah.
But the thing is also, I'm not like to the point that my parents have to feed me, you know,
Yeah.
bring me to the toilet, or either like, I can actually take care of myself.
You're functional,
so,
you're
so
like,
I'm functional.
yeah.
So that's why I didn't want to, and I'm upset that my boss actually say that to me lah. Like, oh, you're not thinking. You are like you're very robotic. You know, like you are not thinking. You are always reading on the surface. You never read between the line. You know, like those kind of stuff. And this makes very difficult for us to work with you. You know.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, they did not really approach it from a very kind view. They actually approach it with like a critical view.
Ooh.
So it actually is like, for me, I'm like, I got very defensive and upset at the same time lah, which led to my resignation a few months later lah. So I resigned, and then I kind of think that I work better as so they call it like sendirian berhad lah, like one person
Freelancer lah.
freelancer. It's like compared to working with people. But the thing is, again, I didn't really want to talk about it, so that's why I hold on, and then I was like, okay lah, never mind, let's talk about other stuff. And the thing is, these are stuff that I tried to hide. It's like I try to hide, and we can actually mask, because I do read up about symptoms of autism. So I can actually say, never mind, let me try pretend that I'm comfortable with eye contact. So I can like just look at one person.
So you were looking out for the symptoms, and then
try
try to
circumvent it to
Wow.
appear normal. It's
Okay.
like I will try to say, let me see how I can sort of hide it. But it is very tiring, to be frank, because you are actually, in a way, you're trying to be functional, you're trying to hold things together, you're trying to
you're pretending lah. You're
believe
acting
that you
yeah.
are okay, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't need extra help or anything. If let's say they give me some instructions, sometimes it may sound like data to me only, you know. But I still say, do you understand? Yes. It's like, but when the word come out, the boss will be like, apa ini, you know,
Yeah,
like
it will
what is
still
this?
show, right?
Yeah, so the thing is, I didn't want to, but the thing is, somehow, I think this one actually partially helped me to understand things a bit more, because I think in 2019, suddenly autism becomes a bit more like people start talking about it. Like
Yeah.
they don't make you feel wrong about it, or they don't make you feel bad for being yourself. And also there is kind of like a free diagnosis happening at Sunway Putra Mall that time. So that time I actually say, I think I want to go and check out. I actually texted them. I said that I know that this is for children only, but can I as an adult go and talk to the specialist lah?
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, just hop over lah, come over. And then I actually talked to she's not really a specialist, she's more a behavioral therapist.
Okay.
So the thing is, I talked to her and just like, but she said that I cannot do diagnosis for you because you are an adult. You are already 28 years old when you find out about this. So I can't really do that for you, because all these diagnosis tools I have are for children. So what I can do is I can ask you about your childhood history, and also any possible patterns that you have, like things that you have challenges or anything. I can ask you based on that, and I will try to see which part of the spectrum you possibly fit in. So I just tell her a few things about, she asked me like, how old you started speaking? I say I started speaking quite late actually. Like, it's like to the point my parents are thinking that I'm deaf and mute, you know, those kind of thing. So I say that about 5 years old, I still haven't really started speaking. So parents are worried lah. Then she say, okay, that is possible because you have the speech delay. And the second thing is, do you have like many friends? I say that I have friends, but they are all like acquaintance. That means I don't have long-term friendships.
Yeah.
And relationship-wise also, my longest relationship is only 2 months. It's like, that means they say that, yeah, that means there is a possibility because you have difficulty maintaining quality relationship. That means like people dating, like maybe, I mean, normally on average people broke up a year lah. Minimum a year. I mean, minimum a year or 5 years, you know. They at least have a long-term relationship, understand a person in depth. But 2 months or 9 days, hiya, it's like these are all 9 days. What is that?
That's another one.
Yeah, 9 days. So it's like, so that means they say, okay, that means you cannot maintain a proper relationship and you have a lot of acquaintance, which means that you don't really have a friend that you can confide in for the long term. That means when people are like hanging out with me for a long term, it's a bit tricky lah. That means unless they know me very well and they persisted with me, if not, it's very hard. They will just drop off.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. It's like relationship wise, I'm not very good with maintaining it. And the third thing is, do you have do you know how to read body language, or people's tone of voice and all? I say that the thing is, to me, if let's say they say it certain way, let's say like they say that a good job or anything, with due respect, I take it at the surface level. I will just take it as like, oh yeah, thank you for the compliment.
There's no question on whether there's...
No, but the thing is, people will be normally concerned like how the person say it, like, good job. It could be very sarcastic or either it's genuine. But to me, I just take it as good job, that kind of thing. So I will like, thank you, And of course, it will piss off the people around me lah. Yeah, so good job, But the good job could be very sarcastic, but I just don't know. To me, it sounds the same. It's not a bad thing.
That's not always a bad thing.
Because you take it as it is. You don't really read too much into
because
the meaning.
A lot of the issues with human communication here is like, if you don't say what you mean, how am I supposed to know what you mean, right?
Yeah, so it's like, good job. Okay, so after that, they say, okay, so that means you kind of have a very literal processing system. Because for me, I will really, if you tell me something, I will really imagine an image one. It's like, to me, that is all. I mean, I don't really read it like you say, raining cats and dogs. I will actually imagine, where's the cats and dogs? I will actually look at that and like, where's no cats and dogs? The kind of thing. So for me, that is those kind of thinking. So they say you have kind of a literal pattern.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't understand sarcasm. When someone tries to be sarcastic with me, their purpose is often a futile one. Because they don't get it, because they try to say, I want you to get what I mean, but I don't want to be mean, because to be mean to someone, to directly tell someone, needs courage.
Yeah, sarcasm is usually like...
Not everybody has the courage to tell you like, your work is shit, that kind of thing. They don't really tell you. They were trying to tell you in a very, very nice way lah. But the thing is, when you don't get it, they get frustrated. So that's another one. And one more thing they ask me is like, do you understand, like, do you know how to read people's facial expression and all? I say that for me, everybody's looks the same. Somehow, that's why when let's say my bosses are upset with me or anything, I can't really tell from the tone or from the facial expression.
Okay.
So that's why it somehow affects me a bit in comedy, because when I look at an audience,
it's hard to what, right? Because
gauge.
Obviously you're not blind, so visually you can see it.
Yeah.
But you're not able to process.
Yeah, so it's the processing
but
thing.
But on a data level, are you able to like, okay, I think that's a happy...
Okay, what I do is I have to rewatch. Let's say I do a set or anything, I need to rewatch my video. Okay. Because let's say they are laughing, because most of the time if people are laughing and all, I cannot really pick up much one. That means for me, they sounded about the same. Whether is it loud, soft or anything, to me they all sound the same. Okay. So I won't know it until like when I go home, I watch the video. Then at least I can differentiate the
because you're not in the moment anymore, right?
Yeah. So I can watch it, and then but on stage I can't detect. Yeah. So it is a bit of a challenge. And sometimes even when they are, because there are people who heckles. Yeah. But sometimes when they even heckle me also, sometimes the heckle flew past me. So I didn't catch that. So that's, I mean, it is good and bad lah. Good is I can still focus on my act. But the not so good thing is people will be like, why is she not reacting? That is the hacker. Somebody asked her a question, but why is she not answering the question? It's weird. So it comes across as like, it's not usual lah. And sometimes when I bomb, that means there's no laughter. Also, I don't pick up. I will like, never mind, let's focus on the material. So again, all these things actually build up to audience tension. And audience somehow they were like, I noticed that something is not right, but the thing is she does not say anything about it. Yeah, because the thing is I noticed a lot of comics like if let's say they did not hear laughter from a joke that expect to get laughter, they usually address it by saying like, okay, this is just an open mic, or either they will say that it's just funny in my head. They will come up with stock lines like that. But for me, it's like, because I don't detect they're not laughing, I thought that, okay, this is they are supposed to laugh, but I just didn't pick up. Maybe they're just smiling, but I don't know. I just say, never mind, if they don't laugh also, never mind, let me just move on my materials.
So your analysis always has to come like post-show after recording.
Post-show lah. Or either the best thing is someone is there lah. That means even when to gauge crowd energy, I can't gauge. To me, I would think I always come in with a good room. I assume that the room is good from the beginning, until people will tell me lah, like, today the audience a bit like, yeah, then only I will, okay, let me just adjust, like maybe energy level or anything lah.
Yeah.
But on my own, I won't be able to pick up. So the thing is, the behavioral therapist say that, yeah, it's possible because for you, it's like you don't really know how to. These are all social cues lah, in short, but you cannot read them, you cannot process. And one more thing is, do you have any repetitive pattern, like sort of like anything that you are, like if let's say things are being thrown off the regular, then you get like a bit like mangzang and all lah. I say that I do have attachment. I love toys. I mean, I love what you call. If let's say I love something, I can actually talk about it for a whole day.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, I loved Garfield dolls, and then when I like my recent catch on things is actually my dog. So every time I will be talking about my dog. Hey, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the thing is, they say that, oh, that means you actually do have quite a bit of an attachment to things. Yeah. Do you have like another thing is when I park my car in, if let's say it's a place I go regularly, I have to admit that I'm rather rigid in that. That means I need to park in the same place, and I have to make sure that the road that I get down to the parking is also the same. That means, for example, in Publica, you know lah, Publica, the parking is kind of a mess. It's like there are people who actually tell me you can actually park another place, or you can actually walk here, we can go together and then pay the parking and then go back. But for me, I'm very uncomfortable with route change.
Okay.
Like for me, I'm like, I think I better take that same route back to my car, because if I cannot find back the route, I will get very angsty.
Very anxious about it. Yeah.
Like how you know, like I need to go back to at least where I started, and then even if let's say I try to follow my friend, sometimes I just follow just out of like, okay lah, ingsiu lah, you know, like ikut saja lah. But after that, I will make sure I get back to the same place where I started, and I work backwards to where my car is. So, and I also take photo, you know, you're scared lah, scared that you cannot find your car.
Leave a trail of breadcrumbs kind of thing.
Yes, that's what I do actually. So it's like scared lah. So that's why they say that, so, but the thing is, what she told me is you are actually a very verbal person. So you're not someone who is not verbal, you're actually very verbal. So I think that you are more on Asperger's side, Asperger's syndrome.
Okay.
So it's like you have, that means your social part is not very well developed. And also your verbal is fine. That means you can actually use big words, you can read books, you know, like
so
for me, I can read books very quickly.
So outside of the social factor, you are actually rather, like everything else is pretty okay. Pretty okay lah.
Yeah, it's like so that's why study time when I was in school, I don't really have major problems. And parents are not very, especially Asian parents, they are not very bothered if their children cannot get along with people.
They're like, even better. Like, she's not going to get into trouble.
She's no friends. It's like we don't need to bring her to see her friend, to play with her friend and all. It's like, I never really initiate meetups. If let's say people who knows me, they know lah. They are the one who correct me out of my house. They will say, Juliana, come, let's meet at Subway Freedom Meet. But I personally don't initiate meetup unless it's very urgent or anything. So that's why when MCO happened, it didn't really affect me much. It's like, for me, I'm like, okay, I know what to do at home. I have a lot of books to read. I have a lot of stuff to do. I have a dog to play with. So it's like, only people like, hey, your birthday, come out, eat lah, you know, that kind of thing. So
you were performing on every open mic that you could find.
Yeah, but the thing is, that is one great thing about being on the spectrum, because you are able to, you have the kind of energy to actually mine for stuff. You're like, okay, let's mine. And then to me, it's like, what I do was very similar to a theme park. You know, when I go into a theme park, I will get a list first. So when I get a list, because there are so many attractions there, I want to make sure I complete them.
Yeah.
So I will have a pen, and then I will start marking off. To me, it's colonization. And
so the British, when they came to Asia and all that,
that's why I feel like
they were just a bunch of Asperger's people with Asperger's.
maybe because I was like, to them it's like, I say it's like colonization, you know, because even the open mics over the world, there are so many, they have lists. Some people even map out lists and all. I also make sure that I get a copy of their list, and again I will mark off like colonization. I say that, oh, let me see. Okay, I colonize, and then I get a map also, and I start circling all the places. I say, okay, not bad. I colonized about 22 states in USA, which is a lot, you know. 22 states is a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's
out of 52.
52. That's like, you're on your way to half already. Yeah.
So I say that's what I do for theme park. I also do the same for. But the thing is, I need a list, so you know, that kind of thing. So it is like, so the thing is a very interesting thing happened during my conversation with the therapist. She told me she said that although if you want to really get a diagnosis, of course you can. I wouldn't be here to stop you or anything.
Yeah.
But you are already like almost 30 years old. You're already an adult. And the thing is, you are functioning pretty well from what I see you.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to go and really go through the process of like DNA checking, tracing to your family member. There's quite a lot of testing, all the MRI, everything, if you want to go through. But these are all expensive. They are not cheap. They are also like, do they serve you a purpose? I mean, that's what she's trying to impress upon me. Like, if let's say you go for all this, at the end you just want a piece of paper that says that you are diagnosed with autism, then there's not really a need to lah.
Yeah. And will that piece of paper like actually affect you negatively in like work and
okay, if let's say
stuff?
you are, but the thing is, there are some people, again, people with different school of thoughts lah. There are some people who will like say it's fine as long as you are aware, you know how to manage your symptom, like you know where is your anxiety point.
Yeah.
Then you just tell people that I cannot do this, I cannot do that, or either I'm not comfortable in this situation. Then at least you can just tell. The more important thing is to manage. It's not to really find out whether do you really have it, because the thing is, autism is a spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
So if let's say you do have a couple of symptoms here and there, you are considered, and technically everyone is on the spectrum to a certain extent. It's only a matter of degree.
Yeah.
So there's no need, if let's say you feel that it's not really like hindering your life or anything, there is not really a need to really look for a diagnosis.
Yeah. And I would assume like if you need like certain social assistance, welfare and all this kind of stuff, then you probably want that.
You will
well,
need
right?
that, because the thing is, they will need a doctor's letter.
Yeah.
And from there you can apply for the OKU card, and from there you can actually get access to stuff. But I don't really like the connotation that comes with orang kurang upaya, because to me, I felt like it's as though you are not capable. It's like it's not true, because we are different. It's like there are things that I can do that a person not on the spectrum can do. So like, for example, I can actually, like, for me, I like memorizing names and all. So for me, I can actually, I remember that when I was standard 1, I'm actually the attendance list. Physical attendance list.
Oh, not the one taking care of you. Were the list.
I am the list, because the teacher will ask me, okay, Juliana, I mean, but they don't know that it's under Asperger or what lah. To them, it's a convenience.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's a convenience. They're like, Juliana, can you tell me who is not in the class now? And I will just say, number 29, Law Jun Xiang, something like that, something along the way. So the teacher will like, ham, like. It's like, because the thing is, again, in the classroom, it's like I will be able to see who is in, who is out. It's like, for me, I just glance, because I remember their position as well. Like,
wow.
So the classroom layout plan, the teacher will have to draw her own layout plan. Okay, this is Abu, Ali, whatever sitting here. I think within 1 or 2 days, I know everywhere everyone sits.
This sounds like if you were to become a chess player, you would actually be pretty good if you like put time into it.
Yeah, but not trained lah.
Okay.
So the thing is, I can remember all their positions. So and also the name list, I can also remember their exact number and their full name.
Oh, gosh.
So that is the one that the teachers will be like very like, oh, you even remember the full name, and student doesn't like it when you call their full name, because it sounds like they are doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
They say, okay, Anthony Lai Yong Hian.
It's just Anthony. Okay, I'll go. But it's Anthony Lai Yong.
Then they really like had it, and the worst thing is, like, the teacher was like, oh, this is awesome, Juliana, tell me who is not in class now, So it is like more like, because the thing is, I'm like kind of like a walking attendance list, or even if let's say I learn enough words, I can be a walking dictionary as well. So that's why the teachers are like, ooh, that kind of thing. Like, but the thing is, contrary to stereotypes, I'm not very good at maths.
Okay.
It's like people always say that, ooh, your maths must be very good. It's like, my maths is not good, because the thing is, when I do maths also, I don't really like counting, to be frank. So what I did was I agak. I will look at it like, I think this looks like an 11 to me. So I will just... And the thing is, when I come back home, of course, my mom spanked me like mad. It's like, she's like, how is this 11, And then the teacher say, every time say, 没有用心, means you did not put the heart and soul to do your mathematics. Because I hate math, so for me, I just look at it, and they were like, say you are medium, is it? You throw in the number, you come out like four numbers, okay, 3, 2, 4, 1, that is the number for the answer.
Go to exam with dice.
So the thing is, my mom come back, say, wow, what is this, because Chinese school people, they pride themselves on mathematics. That means if your Chinese sucks, never mind, If your math sucks, that's it, you are the poor, you are the bad student in the school.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
All right. Okay. And on that, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back for part 3 of the podcast with the one and only Juliana Heng.
Ta-da!
Hey there! If you like this podcast, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Stephen Bones Everything Facebook page, YouTube channel, Instagram, and more. You can also find us on Podbean. Don't forget, this podcast is available wherever all good podcasts are. Not saying that this is a good podcast, it's just available where all good podcasts are. If you wish to advertise on this podcast, or if you just want to send money, drop us an email at stephenboneseverything@gmail.com. We'll get the better email next time. But for now, stephenboneseverything@gmail.com.
Round 3 with Juliana Heng. Yes.
Hello.
We're all like,
Yes.
she's had cake, so
Yeah.
ready
well
to go now.
fed and happy. Yay.
Okay, so Juliana, we were talking about like your experience with the therapist, about the whole autism,
Yep.
and where are you on the spectrum, and stuff. So, okay, how did you get into comedy, and at what point did the autism
That bit come about.
that bit come about? The autism.
Okay.
Autism with acceptance or
Acceptance. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So the thing is, I started comedy. Okay, very interesting. There are 2 reasons why I start comedy. One is the real reason, another is a crappy reason. So I will tell the crappy one because it's just a one-liner.
Okay.
The crappy one is because I am a cheapskate Chinese. It's like when they say go and see I meant to check out a comedy open mic show, but I didn't want to pay for it. Yeah, so I didn't want to pay for it. I actually checked out. I saw the flyer that time. Well, that time it was in a flyer, not even social media for one mic stand. So I checked the flyer. They say performers can walk in for free. And I was like, okay. So I actually sent an email to one mic stand and just asked, can I have a spot?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, you have 3 minutes to make the people laugh. I was like, okay, 3 minutes so because knowing me,
it's
I
3
can
minutes,
talk up
right?
to
Yeah.
I can talk up to 3 hours if I want to. 3 minutes is really nothing for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, at least I can walk in for free.
Yeah.
So that is the crappy reason. But the real reason is because the thing is I mean, in my comedy, I did mention that I'm someone who have a bit of a delayed reaction. So if let's say I were to watch a comedy show, personally, you ask me, I wouldn't really enjoy it because I don't understand jokes immediately. Unless the joke is like slapstick, like physical, there's no interpretation or layering, then usually I don't have problem understanding. I will like, haha, I can laugh when someone do some physical actions and all lah. But when it comes to like jokes like wordplay or either there is a process flow and all, I may lose a few details here and there. So that's when I don't really enjoy a joke until I fully process it, which could be the show is over already, usually. So the show is over, then only I'm like, so that is the joke, like. So the thing is, but the thing is, I did saw as an eyewitness, I watched people performing open mic. I was like, wow, this is amazing because you see everyone in the room are actually strangers. Audience, most of them, okay, if they come with friends, maybe they know there are few friends only lah, but the whole room practically are all strangers. And the comedians themselves, okay, maybe on stage they are also stranger with the audience. Nobody know each other lah, essentially. But the thing is, just by telling a few jokes or sharing some funny stories or some relatable stuff, that's when suddenly everyone just laugh, and at the end of the show they can even be friends. Can I have your social media? They become friends suddenly. I was like, this is amazing because I'm someone who has problem like making friends, and it can be very lonely and very isolating. But I say that, just by telling some jokes you can actually have friends, like new friends can make connections. So I thought like, I say I would love to do this. I mean, even after I performed the first time, I say that I would love to do this more often. And the time I actually stepped into one mic stand was 15th of September 2015. That was how long it was. And the time I was afraid of going myself because I was like, because to me, Chinese school children, Chinese school student.
There is that do not exit the box
Correct.
kind of mindset.
The thing is, to them is, if you see a word club, you will imagine those nightclub.
Yeah.
Like all those places like where there are drugs, there are things going on lah. So that time I actually told my father is around that time lah. I mean, like as in, we are still stay in the same house that time. So I asked him, I say, because my mom and brother, they went off to Penang. So it's okay lah. I say, Pa, can you come and follow me to the comedy club? Because I actually don't know who am I meeting. I don't know where am I. I'm afraid. Then my father say, okay lah. He's very chill and he say,
Yeah.
come. So we went together and it's not as I imagined. So it's safe, thank God. Because we really imagined that nightclub style, then
Yeah.
takut sikit lah. Then went there and then okay lah, I did my 3 minutes. But the thing is, the person who record my video is my father. So my father actually recorded my video. And he also say, okay, well done, Juliana, well done, on your first time, Then I went home, listen, I was like, oh, shock, got laughing. Then after that, but the thing is, who add the laugh track? My father lah.
He added laugh tracks?
No, because he
laughed.
laughed himself when
okay,
I performed.
Yeah.
If you are the one holding the camera, let's say the whole world did not laugh, but my father laughed and all, so you can actually hear laughter. You
Yeah,
thought
that's
you thought that you are funny. You're like, yes, I have it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So okay, I went on to do. I tried a few mic. I went to Crack House, and then I also. But the thing is, for me, I felt that I like it. But the thing is, I'm quite ambitious also. Like, I mean, I think this is in me since long time. I don't just want to stick to the existing mics. I also wanted to try outside of the comedy mic. So I actually say, okay, let's go to Merdekaya. They say Merdekaya, they got open mic as
So
well.
this stemmed from that first open mic.
Yeah.
Like you got the bug was bit already lah.
Bit
You
lah.
got bit right away.
Yeah,
Alright.
but the thing is, I went to Merdekaya and I performed. The first time got a bunch of friends came and they all support lah, they laugh, everything. So okay lah, I feel good lah. Then the second time I try again, this time only 3 friends came. And then the thing is, I think that time it was, because the time I was just a beginner comic. So maybe I'm more towards, I just tell random stories of my day. I don't really have jokes. So went there and then the thing is, I was given 15 minutes, which is damn luxury.
Yeah.
But I went there, I performed, and then after that I start seeing like the people it's like as though they stare at me like they can throw me a bottle anytime. Because it's like, because to them, if let's say they are there for music, in the Merdekaya is for music.
Yeah.
If you are a comedian, you must be funny.
Yeah.
If you're not funny, you are stage hogging. And that's when they will just stare at you like, get out of the stage, get out.
It's strange, right? If it was
Yeah.
musicians but bad musicians, they would put
They'll
up with
tolerate.
it. Yeah, they'll tolerate it. But
bad
if it's
comedian
comic-
is like considered stage hogging, so
Yeah.
they will show you a stare like, get out of the stage. Our friends is going up later,
Wow.
like. So the thing is, I think by my 7-minute mark, I just hung up the mic and I just walked off. And that's just my 5th mic, One in Crack House, I started in
But
Mak
wait,
Mamat stand.
by your 5th mic, they gave you 15 minutes. That's
because
incredible.
there's musician.
Yeah, but
musician, they don't really
but
care.
still, it's for a comic that's like crazy lah.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
is.
crazy amount of time. Yeah.
So the thing is, I went there. Okay, I went open one mic stand once. I went Crack House once, and then I think the other 2 or 3 is some random place. I think the 3rd one is a random place. The 4th one is actually Merdekaya. 5th one also Merdekaya. But that is a bit of a hurt for me because like I feel the rejection where they are like going to throw me a bottle anytime.
Yeah.
So I actually say that I don't think comedy is for me. So, and also the time I was dealing with a lot of family problem, like I cannot take it lah. My mom is like in a way like kind of like taunting me to leave the house all the time that time. So I'm already working out how to leave the house, and there is a lot of issues that I faced that time, a lot of problems lah. So that's why I ended up like stepping aside from the stand-up for a while. I said that I think maybe I don't think I can do stand-up. So after that mic, that unpleasant mic at Merdekaya, I just stopped. So and the time I also like for a good about 2 years lah, I was putting all my affairs into order, all the things, sorting out my life in a way.
Yeah.
Because I just moved out of my house that time to live independently lah. And it's of course a challenge. Yeah, so for me it's like, okay, so I don't have time, but until after that I met who did I meet? I met Sulaiman. Okay, the thing is I actually went to Harif Iskandar, one of Harif's show lah. He was doing it at Publica that time. So I met Sulaiman. Then and he said, hey Juliana, I've not seen you for such a long time in the open mics. He said, you're not doing comedy anymore. I say, yeah, I quit lah. I say that I don't think it's for me. He said, why you quit? I was like, I say that I did quite a bad mic lah somewhere, and then I think it's not for me. And he said, is it with Crack House or the one mic stand? I say, no, it's at Merdekaya. Then he said, oh, I see the problem. It's like maybe because the thing is they go there for music.
Yeah.
If let's say you are not funny, then of course they will be quite unkind to you.
You went to a football field to play basketball lah.
In a way, yes lah. So the thing is, he said that if you want to do comedy again, you have to come back to one mic stand Crack House lah. Do from there again lah. So, but the thing is, it still takes me a bit of like, I have a bit of reluctance to go back. But that's until I met Monty. So, met Monty, and then Monty said that, I saw you before. I noticed that you bomb quite significantly.
Wow, that's like, it's such a way. That's such a nice way to like welcome to the comedy.
Yeah. So it's like the thing is he wanted to run some open mic workshops that time lah.
Yeah.
Not mic workshop. He said comedy writing workshop, and he said that I would like to sort of like see whether can I sort of teach you comedy. You know, like is comedy can be taught.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, a lot of people have this perception that comedy is either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people would think lah.
A lot of people have seen that clip. There was a few going around at the time. I think it was Seinfeld or Steve Harvey or something like that. And then like they were asked to teach a comedy class, and then they went into the classroom, right? And then they looked, all of you here today in this classroom do not have what it takes if you are here. Because
Hilarious.
for them it's like comedy cannot be taught. You know, it's
Yep.
something that you can practice and work on, but I cannot teach it to you in this classroom format.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's where
There
part of it
is some
stems from.
truth lah, so that's why that time. But I also met a few others. Like these are the first few early people when I restarted back in September 2017, which is 2 years after I started. Then I met Shark, they all lah. But Shark is already doing quite well even that time. So I chat lah. I say, hey, you do very well lah. You know, that kind of thing. I'm bombing on stage and you get laughter. You know, I mean, even though her laughter is not as often as today. Today, of course, she's much more better as well.
Yeah.
But that time already, I see, wow, got laughter at least, you know, good, you know. So become good friends lah. And then Monty also said, I want to do this workshop, so I would like you to come lah, to come and just sit in and then learn how to write jokes, you know. But the thing is, these are things that are, like, for me, it is something that I have to learn because it doesn't come instinctively to me because I grow up in a very serious family.
Yeah.
Like, the serious family is like to the point that if I try to pull a prank or just say something stupid in front of my mom, I will have it lah.
Yeah.
So we have to be very serious, and school also serious, and then go to work also serious. So it's like, but the thing is, I have this secret guilty pleasure where I love a lot of Stephen Chow show.
Okay.
So that is kind of like my porn.
Yeah, the slapstick
So,
stuff.
Like the
yeah.
slapstick stuff. So I say, okay, Stephen Chow. It's like every time I will watch his Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah.
And then, because the thing is, prior to that, I don't even know what stand-up comedy is. That's how limited my exposure to comedy was. To me, the comedy that I know is Stephen Chow. So Stephen Chow, oh, very funny, Kung Fu
So
Hustle.
growing up, did you watch a lot of like English and American programming, or was it?
I
mainly-
think another close one to comedy is Simpsons lah. The
Okay,
Simpsons.
okay.
But that is not entirely comedy also. It's more like sitcom. Like some of it
Yeah.
are
It's
part
comedy, but it's not stand up lah.
Not stand up.
Yeah, it's not stand up.
So the thing is, these are all the very early exposure. I don't even know all the big names in comedy. And the only person I actually know is funny the time lah. I mean, not to say lah. I mean, at least we know that he's in the funny business. It's actually Harif Iskandar. It's like my parents all know that. My parents say that, oh, comedian, Harif Iskandar.
Yeah.
That's all. They don't even know who is out there. Even MACC also, they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that is how limited my exposure is. But I only start to know when my boss bring me to watch Mas Jobrani
Okay.
at KL Live. Don't know. Yeah, I think it's KL Live, that place lah. So we were watching, but the thing is, he was good lah. He's really good. But the thing is, half of his jokes are all very Iranian based. So I noticed everyone is laughing. All the Iranian down there are all laughing. But I don't get most of the joke. But I noticed he has very, very good delivery lah.
Yeah.
And then the jokes that he tailor-made, purposely write for Malaysians are funny. But those that are custom-made for his Iranian, I don't get all lah.
Okay, that's
But it's-
fair enough.
But it's
fair
still
enough,
good.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's good. So that's my earliest exposure to a real stand-up comedy. But as an auditor that time, I went to watch a show. The next day, I go back to work lah. It's
Yeah.
like I never think that I will ever step into comedy.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so I went for the class lah, and then start studying comedy a bit. And then, but still, the exposure is pretty limited because, well, you have to really do it on stage. And workshop is actually fine, but workshop doesn't really show you the best reaction because everyone in that room are supportive.
Yeah.
So everyone will be like, oh, okay, good job, you know, that kind of thing. But when you actually go into a real stand-up open mic, that's
Yeah.
when you will know where you stand.
Where you're lucky if the audience doesn't care,
Yeah.
and you might get nights where the audience like just doesn't like you at all.
Yes. So it's like, but it was quite an exploration for me because at one point of time I was trying to reverse engineer comedy. That means I'm trying to I observed like a few open mics. I noticed that most of the comedians, okay lah, that was that time, that was 2 years ago lah, where a lot of them, they rely a lot heavily on race, sex and politics.
Yeah.
So I noticed that these seem to be the topics that a lot of comedians go for. So let me try to see whether can I do jokes like that. So I tried to do some, that's the worst decision ever made lah. Try to do some, trying to do sex jokes.
Yeah.
And when in fact I have not have sex before. That's
Yeah.
the worst thing. So of course the audience or either even comedians, they will know that it's off lah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it doesn't work that way. This is just her imagination, she's trying to imagine how sex works. So
How long into comedy were you in already? How many years were you in?
I would say, okay, starting it was like, say, almost 5 years ago, but I restarted like only, I would say 2 years, 9 months lah.
Okay.
This is like the 2 years, 10 months lah.
Okay.
But again, when I restart, I still don't really get what comedy is. So I will try to like, let's reverse engineer. Like sex joke, dick jokes, good. Let's try to work out.
2 years, 10 months, that will put you about 2017.
September, I started back on September 2017.
Okay.
But again, I tried to reverse engineer. So
Yeah.
end up it's like, it's just materials that I thought people would find funny. So I did not really talk about my stuff, and then because the time I also haven't met you yet, because I think when I met you I already started to try to talk about things that are quite personal to me.
Yeah, because I remember when I met you, you were at that stage of a lot of family stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking about a lot of family stuff. I think you were talking about living on your own already.
Yeah.
The struggles you had to go through, all this kind of stuff. It's
Yes.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yep. So the thing is, that time it was like, I'm just trying to figure out. So I try to, that's why I say I try to do some racial stuff, like, okay, politics, try to, even though I personally, genuinely, it's not to say I don't have interest in politics. It's just that it's not something that I will really study in depth.
Yeah.
But again, I force myself to like read some political stuff just to keep up. And the thing is, when I do the comedy, of course, it does reflect. It's like, it reflects that there is not much of a depth. That's one thing. And there's not much of emotions or care about it, because you just want, your main aim is you think that you want to make the audience laugh.
Yeah.
But you never thought of like sharing a piece of yourself. And people will like say, okay, I mean, she does make me laugh, but I won't remember her because she never tell me anything about herself. She's only telling about very cliche stuff, and some of it are even incorrect, like especially those stuff that I try talking about. Because I try to be the desperate single girl who actually go and like manhunt.
Yeah, but you're not that
But
person.
I did not manhunt. I never really manhunt. They are all in my head. The manhunt all happened in the head, but not in real life.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm like very shy. I never really want to. Even I like someone also, I'm afraid of rejection. So I don't really like actually talk to someone and tell the person that I like you. I don't really do that. But in my mind, I did that a lot. So the man hunting or the woman hunting all done inside here. One. So it's like, but the thing is, it dawned on me, because the thing is that time, Rizal and Alina, because the thing is, I hang out with them at one point of time, just went stay back lah, because I just left home, and I not say left home, I left home about 2 years already. But the thing is, when you don't have a place to go to, you will linger. That means when you go to a comedy club, show is over, long over. You just wait around. You don't want to go home. It's like, because for me, I don't look forward, because again, I'll be facing the four walls. There's no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And I will start thinking stupid things again. And so I linger around, and that's when Arlene start talking to me lah. And then she start saying to me, she said that, and she also like asked me, she said that actually those stuff that you say in your comedy, are they true? And I actually hesitated. I don't know how to answer, because it seems that somebody has already blown your cover.
Yeah.
So at the end, I have to say, no, it's not true. Then she's like, why are you saying stuff when you never even experienced them, Then she did try to tell me. Then the thing is, I did manage to tell her a bit. But the thing is, one of the trigger questions she asked me is, where are your mom and brother? It's like, I always saw your father come.
Yeah.
But where are both of them? Because from what I know, everybody, normally they have at least their mom or anything. But the thing is, I said that I left home lah. Then after that, I did told her that I also struggling with a lot of suicidal thoughts and all. And I actually talked to her quite a long time, like about an hour like that lah, when she was cleaning up stuff and all. And she's like saying, why didn't you tell all this on stage? It's like, I say that I don't think it is comedy.
Right? It feels like that, right? So,
Yeah.
why would I be telling people all this stuff that
like,
upsets me?
I'm
And
sad, and the thing is, I'm still dealing about it now. So the thing is, I still keep it as part of storytelling until I find an angle to tell. Because the thing is, these are stuff that could be very funny, but unless you are really over with it, then if not, it's very hard. Audience will know that you are not in the safe zone. Like you are emotionally still, like.
I kind of disagree. I kind of feel like even when you're not in that safe zone yet, that it's kind of okay to explore it on stage, because these are things where like nobody has a definite answer,
Yeah.
right? But everybody enjoys, not to say just enjoy, but everybody's curious about what other people are going through. So even like for me, right, like doing this podcast, right, one motivating factor was like, I don't know how to get through life, and I don't know how everyone else seems to be getting through it. And then, but then somewhere in me, I'm like, but I kind of know that nobody knows how they're getting through it. But when I talk to people, it's kind of nice to just find out that, oh, actually you also don't really know what you're doing. Huh? I also don't know what I'm doing. And then somehow, there's that sympathetic thing
Everyone
going on.
just connect lah.
Yeah, everyone kind of connects on that level.
Yeah, you're not alone in this.
Yeah, which is why I think like there's like stuff like this, right? It's worth exploring, because at the end of it, no, like on the individual basis, none of us know what we're doing, where the hell we're going, and how we're gonna get out of all this and all this kind of stuff. We may have plans all laid out.
Yes.
But like at a very deep part of us, like none of us know what's going on.
Yep.
Right?
Still figuring out.
Yeah. So to figure it out on stage, that might actually be like a very legitimate option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I was like, of course, tell what? Then, but the thing is, I did try. I mean, I think that was like 2 or 3 months before I met you. So I did try on stage at that time, and I just talked about it very briefly. I mean, I think you could have heard that same set before. Like, it's about me talking about how my mom beat me up, my brother
I
beat
remember
me
that.
up, and also. So it's like, it was quite awful, but at the same time, if let's say my mood is a bit better, I actually can tell that joke really funny.
Yeah.
But when my mood is a bit off, people will feel like, I don't think I can laugh at her.
I remember there were nights where you tell those jokes, everyone's like, "Ooh, it was so good." And then there were nights people like, "Oh,
cannot.
okay, is this like a real thing now? Like, do we need
That
to
talk,
do we need to call like the befrienders?"
Therapies, Yeah, so
Like,
that's why it's a very, very mood thing. So it's like something that I say that I really need to be out of. Because the thing is, I did talk to my sifu about that, Monty. So he said that you must really be over about it, because if you're not really over it, it's hard to. Because the thing is, me as a third party or any audience, we find that it's a very funny situation. A lot of things that happen in your family are very absurd.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because you are still like emotionally, you're still quite attached, it's a bit hard. But once you are quite over, or either that time your mood is a bit better then you can actually really make fun of them. It's like, it's really funny.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I did try, but the thing is, it's quite hard. Sometimes I do get hit emotionally, personally. I'm still somewhat affected. So that's like exploration and then I try talking. And the thing is, I also try experimenting on stage at one point of time. I'm trying to explore different ways of doing comedy. Like, what is it? Can I be the angry personality? Because I'm fairly angry about my life, although I may not verbalize it or I may not show it on the face. So I say maybe comedy could be a way for me to channel all those anger I have in my life. But I realized that I can't really do that, because for me, I can't sustain. It's like, I want to go from a point of view where I'm more on the acceptance. So I think that's more towards the autism materials. It's more towards like me being quite accepting about stuff. So that is more my personality. It's like, it fits well so far . And thing is, I also tried like, okay, let's figure out. But it's quite hard. At the end, I realized that I think, and I also talked to a few comedians about it, like Zainal and all, and they say that the materials are funny, but the thing is, the way you tell it is a bit like a bit
Something's
off.
off
Something is off, and audience can't really laugh. So, and also he said that another thing is you need to be able, is like, right, instead of actually doing all this material first, start from the basic learn how to write jokes first on simple things first, then after that you can move on once you know how the jokes.
So that was when you had that phase of like walking out on stage with 20 one-liners.
Yeah.
And then
Try
throwing them out one by one.
them out. But it's not bad, because
Yeah,
my error rates are not very low, because even results say that to get 20 one-liners, 4 hit is not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So it's quite a good hit rate.
Because most people are like, oh, if one is a keeper, like that's good enough.
Yeah. So I tried, and then but the thing is, okay, it's still like still quite iffy. And then after that, I tried like doing a bit of other stuff, like try talking about my national service experience.
Yeah.
And then I mean, that's quite okay, quite fun actually. Just that I'm only there for 2 weeks, so it's like okay. I mean, I can dig later on, but it's not really in depth because I'm not there for the whole period.
Yeah, but it's part of it is funny is because you were only there for 2 weeks, and the kind of
you got kicked out and
the
all
nonsense you saw within 2 weeks.
And after that, I tried that. But after that, I think one of the bigger awakening was because the thing is, I also do, I perform in a party comedy rakyat, which is PKR. So the thing is, because we are kind of we are non-conformists. We say that the current open mic scene, unless you are doing show, you can get barely 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. PKR. Let's let people know what it is. First, PKR is this comedy troupe.
Yep.
That's been set up by Monty, right?
No,
or is it
actually,
a collective
it's how
thing?
it happens was we were in the workshop last time. With the workshop is actually organized by LOL events.
Yeah.
So LOL with Chandana, they set up a workshop for comedians, aspiring comedians, to learn how to do comedy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are in for 6 months, That means every fortnight, Saturday, we will come and write and perform together. And finally, it will end up with a big show at Publica that time. So the thing is, we are already 6 months in, and we already know each other quite well. The time Monty did say lah, if let's say you all were to just drop off after class finish, bye bye, everybody just go off, then sayang lah, because you all already know each other as friends, and you're all ngam with each other. So why not you all start a comedy group, where you all organize your own shows, and then learn how to bounce off ideas from each other, work with each other together, and commit to perform shows lah. And also, in a way, you don't need to conform to the current comedy standard, because personally, I will say that at this moment, I'm only a 3 or 4 minute in the conventional comedy scene. I'm only given 3 or 4 minutes during open mics. So, but the thing is, we wanted to do longer sets. We saying that, we have a lot of stuff. It's why don't we do it all? We learn how to organize a longer set. Well, there is a difference in doing 3 minutes and say 10 minutes. It's a different way of organizing your stuff. So we wanted to do that. So we say we can form the group, and then after that we give each other, all of us, we have the 10 minutes time lah.
Yeah.
So we all do that, and the thing is, I went to Ipoh, and then we tried to venture into Ipoh to perform. And I think this is pretty cool, because that is technically the first time I actually killed a room. Killing means you actually perform very well, and everyone was laughing like mad. Because prior to that, I never have those kind of laughter. I always have those laughter that are just pocket laughter.
A couple of chuckles here and there. Yeah.
Very scattered, and it's okay. If let's say you are not strict, you are it's okay, there are a bit of laughter. But the thing is, after that day when I performed in Ipoh, my perception of laughter just changed completely. I was like, oh, that's how it feels to actually to kill a room. It's that's how, because the thing is, I can feel because for me, I may not
feel that the wave, right?
Yes. And the thing is, this kind of wave actually, it somehow also drains me, because for me, I feel that I'm giving a lot out, and I'm also absorbing a lot, and that absorption, you need to have a lot of stamina to absorb their energy as well. So I did the time I went up to 13 minutes, and I actually tell all the set that I have performed in my whole 1.5 year that time. So tell everything, even the suicide bit I also did. So but that was at the end. But that was at the end, and it was they were just giving me almost they can give me a standing ovation.
But it's so strange, right? When you were given less time to work with, it was actually you would actually struggle even more.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're given this you're given almost free rein lah, more time than you've ever had. And then suddenly oh, my stuff works.
Yeah.
In this place. Yeah.
And the thing is also about organization, because I'm so used to doing 3-4 minutes. It's you don't really know how to piece them together.
Yeah.
But the thing is, during that time, before that show, because we are given all 10 minutes, or up to you lah. We are given 10, but there's no hard and fast rule. So but myself, my attention span is not very good, so I have not think how to organize the 10 minutes. But one time my car rosak lah, no choice. I'm at the workshop, nothing to do. I feel very useless without a car. That's when I sit down and really pen out okay, for the 10 minutes, what do I want to tell? And then the beginning, the end, and what do I do in the middle? So I actually dissect that and actually written the whole script in full. And I'm someone who needs to write. I can't type, because typing, I don't feel the tactile, the thing that I've done something. So I have to really take a piece of paper and write stuff. So when I write, I feel I felt good about it. And then I went to Ipoh, perform, and I killed it lah. I was like, wow, this is so good. But the thing is, after the 13 minutes on stage, I actually have to go and lie down at a wall nearby, because it was so much of energy out.
It can be draining, because with all these kind of performing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Audience, positive feedback is good, but it gives you that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, suddenly it just goes
away.
away.
And then it's so tired.
Yeah.
Then, but the thing is, I was like, oh, so because the thing is, that time I'm again on the verge of giving up comedy for a second time. Because the thing is, I do notice, I observe there are a lot of comics that come in like slightly later than me or either much later than me. But I noticed that they are already starting to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
It's like at least they get laughter, they are knowing how to engage with the audience. And then I'm like still seeing that I'm still struggling to even get laughter, and I don't even have a proper core sets of material. Like there are all of us have a go-to material, but I haven't found my go-to material yet. I'm still meddling on stage, don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It was hard. It's like it was quite painful, and I was like saying that maybe it's really not for me because I already give myself the fair chance about 1.5 years in.
Yeah.
But I'm still not improving. I see people like even Shark, Rina, they are all like, I mean, we all started out about the same, but they are already progressing quite well. So I start to feel like, I think that's why I already signed up for spoken word and all. I'm like, I think I'm ready to make a career change. Like I think I'm done with comedy. But the thing is, that night afternoon when I perform with people, it kind of give me like a second thought, like say, I think I think I can actually do comedy.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's bad. And from there I start to like, but I think that is like one thing lead to another lah. But the thing is that time after I talked to the therapist and all on the autism thing, and somehow that month is also ngam is an autism acceptance month lah. So awareness month lah. So I also wanted to talk a bit about it. So that's when I start talking about it on stage. That time there's not much of jokes also that time. It's just me exploring on stage. And Harif actually saw my act that night. He was right behind me, in the order.
Yeah.
So he actually, like, during break time, he actually tell me, Juliana, I want to talk to you. And then I was like, oh, why is it, Harif? And then he said that, I actually like what you're doing tonight because it's
genuine.
It's genuine, and also it is very unique. It's like, I mean, we don't know, although we could have like, because the thing is, we felt like when you don't really react much to audience reaction when you perform your materials, but we don't really have an answer for that.
Yeah.
But when you mention on stage, people were like suddenly like, like I get it.
Yeah.
And the thing is also audience, it helps on audience side because, well, audience, if they don't know what you're experiencing, they think that you are just socially awkward and all, and they don't know how to deal, and that's when they don't really want to laugh.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's why I remember that time, Muzakir actually told me, I think regardless for what set you do, just open with your autism line. I mean, you can do other things afterward, but make sure you open with that. Let the audience know that
it sets the room.
This is what happens. So in case, if let's say my reaction is not as what you expect, that is because of I'm on the spectrum. So
she's very smart. It's very clever.
It's a very good strategy lah. So that's why he tell me do that no matter what you want to do. So I actually did, but the thing is, it still take me time to figure out what are the fine point, and I still have to find out like. And also a lot of recollection because I also have to dig like what are the genuine experience that I can dig to make it a comedy.
Yeah.
And I also wanted, because at one point of time I'm doing a lot about, I want to debunk just stereotypes.
Yeah.
Like debunk stereotype, like saying that people will think that, oh, you don't look autistic, because that's very true, because I cannot, it's not like you are say for example you are like a fat guy.
Yeah.
For example, you go up there and then you say that I'm fat. Everyone can see it, it's obvious. But when you go up on stage and you say that you have autism, sometimes people will like, is this real or is this not real?
Yeah, is it a gag kind of thing?
Yeah, and they will think that it is fake, or either, not to say fake, they will think that, are you sure? Because you don't look like those person we see, like we always thought that we see. Because a lot of them are, when they talk about autism, they will think that it is towards the more low functioning end.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Where it's those kids where they are really having a lot of issues, but those that are high functioning, they are almost normal lah. They are just, they look normal, nothing. So I'm trying to like debunk that lah. And also another thing is also, it's all about debunking stereotype. Like why am I not in the job? Is it I have commitment issues? Those kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do that. But this year, I think that like one of the reasons why I start to explore a bit more is I also wanted to be more relatable. I don't want things to be just all about me. So I try to like, what else can I relate? So I'm just, because the thing is, I talked to a few comedians and they also shared with me like, I think we all share about almost the same thing. We don't want to be like too specific about something. Like I only talk about stuff that I understand, I relate. Like for example, my love for trains, but not everybody get my love for trains unless I make it relatable.
At some point, like you want to be able to take the lens that you found, which is uniquely you, and be able to like look at everything through it, as opposed to just like that one thing that you love, right?
So I think it is quite cool that I'm doing. You remember the show that you headlined, the one for the anniversary show, and it's like Valentine. So the thing is, that time I said that, as a host, I think I need to have some Valentine's material. So I was like, okay lah, let me just dig into the bag of worm lah. The can of worm of all the not so good love stories that I have, and those experiment with some dating apps, those kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's try to explore that. But I think it is not bad because at least this helped me to be a bit more relatable to people. Because the thing is, say for example, autism is my lens. Like for yourself, you are actually a voice actor.
Yeah.
And you're also a multi, like you do music, you are more like a freelancer. And so you are using your lens to actually analyze the world around you.
Yeah.
And similar to myself is like I use autism is my lens, and now I just need to scan everything. So nowadays, I'm also trying to come up with materials that are, like for example, now the COVID-19 happened lah. So I'm also keeping up with some news items on COVID-19 and also on the quarantine, on all this stuff. And I try to put like my lens to all these issues lah, like vaccine, all these things. So because the thing is, I don't want to just tell people that, oh, I'm only into what I'm into, I want to tell them that I'm also a person. I may be different, but I'm also
you're still experiencing the same world that everyone
I'm
is experiencing.
facing everyone the same problem as everyone. I have dating problems also.
All right, okay. And with that, we're going to take a short break and then we'll come back for the next part.
Hey everybody! If you like this podcast, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Stephen Bones Everything on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Podbean. You can find audio episodes of this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and most major platforms. Thank you for your support. Okay, let's get back to our program.
All right, the final part 4 of this podcast, and I've got the amazing Juliana Heng here. Okay, so Juliana, you run this show, Mike, called I Love KL.
Yep.
And honestly, like for me, it's one of the nicest, rooms that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of. Even the chat group, it feels like the most, like you can say whatever you want. No one is there to like go after each other. There's
Policing.
there's no policing. There's no like major politics going on there. It really feels like that. And coming from the point of like you being socially awkward and all this kind of stuff and all that, but yet somehow you managed to get yourself into this position where like you're showrunner and you're organizing shows so that you yourself have more time to like to try on stuff as well and bring on the acts that you feel deserve stage time or you want to experiment with. So I'm very glad that you are a part of all this and that you are running this show as well. Yeah. So how did I Love KL like come about, and like what keeps you going? Because not every show is a full house, right?
Yeah.
You have some hits, you have some misses, but what keeps you going? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, okay. So there are 2 questions here. One is how it began, and another one is how I sustain.
Yeah.
So how I begin is actually a friend of mine. He has, not to say he has, he did not own the event space, but he actually is one of the management team in the event space. So he said that, Juliana, I know you do comedy. I want you to come to my place every Monday or whatever day you fix. Do a 1-hour show, solo. But the thing is, that time I'm only in
1 hour solo every week. Wow.
That's
a Netflix special every week, man. Damn.
Yeah, but the thing is, that is because that's the layman understanding.
Yeah, they don't know lah.
They think that comedy is like you talk only.
Yeah, go up and talk.
So, but the thing is, that time I'm only in comedy for, I would say 2 months. 2 months only.
Okay.
So it's even crazy that I accepted the proposal to run a comedy show, because I would have just said no, I cannot do anything, Yeah. So the thing is, he said that do 1 hour. I say cannot lah. I say cannot do 1 hour lah, because I don't have that kind of skill yet.
Yeah.
Second thing is, if let's say even I watch myself for 1 hour, I will vomit. The time I told him that, I said that my proposal is, why don't I get 10 comedians and we just share the hours, so you get to see 10 different people in that 1 hour.
Yeah.
And I will just host it lah, So he said, perfect, that's a good idea, So I was like, okay. So I actually texted a few people lah, like those people that I'm quite I know them a bit lah, at least talked before, like a few of them, like James Su, Sulaiman, Nicholas Lim, and then Hanan, and a few others lah. So Lancelot, the few of them. So I talked to them and they were like, yeah, we will be keen to come and be your first people to check out, to do the mic. And the thing is, the place is quite nice actually. It's at the Port Sunway Putra Mall. It's a very nice lighting. It's actually, Manbai even went there to perform,
Yeah.
It's a place that music conducive. Although the sound system a bit, it's not really for comedy, it's for music, but it's a nice atmosphere. And the first show, we have like 30 people watching,
Oh, that's great.
which is great. And then it's not bad. And then the thing is, they were like looking, comics are already like Haresh, you're like, oh, I want to do the second one. Rakib also saying, I want to do the second one, They already like want to pre-book themselves lah, because they say it's good, and it's nice, the atmosphere is nice. And also, okay, so it went well. Second show also, but second show significantly got deep because people are not so curious anymore.
Yeah.
So only 10 people. It's Chinese New Year and Valentine's week also.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So 10 people only. But by the third time, I actually received a message from one of the partner in the events. So the space lah. What she told me is, she said that, I'm so sorry to inform you, you did not do anything wrong, but I Love KL has to stop. Because the thing is, your friend is accused of having an affair.
Oof.
with one of management team or whatever.
Okay,
So of course they are throwing him out, and of course with this project it's his throw out. So you have to go off, or either we have to terminate here lah.
Yeah.
Of course that time I was like, I can't, because the time Laughing
just
Gas is
started,
also
right?
2 months only, 2 shows only. Laughing Gas is also having issues with venue. So I was like thinking, I said that cannot be, this is terrible. It's like, this is unfair, because Fiona is in for a while for Laughing Gas. She's having this problem. I said that I'm only doing 2 shows and I'm having this problem. This is awful. I was like, this sucks, that kind of thing.
And most showrunners would have just like,
nah, it's okay, just drop,
done deal lah.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's it. I'm moving on, do my own thing.
Yes, but the thing is, I kept
with
it because that time I'm already planning to run the 3rd show with them, which is the all-female comedy show. So I already have flyer all already out on my social media. So I was like saying, how do I tell all these people that the show is no longer on? Then I consulted James and a few others lah, like Shark James, Monty also lah, and then but James is very on point. So what he told me was, he said, actually the problem is not, your show can still go on, it's only the venue. So you just need to look for a new home for it lah. So that time I was like, people are asking, hey, when is the all-female show? When is it? When is the flyer coming out? When is this? When is that? I actually have to be open in the group itself. I say that the time I already added Arlene to the group, because I asked her to do the all-female show too lah.
Yeah.
I said that I'm not sure how to say this, but we have been evicted from our venue, so we have no place to do our comedy, so I'm not really sure how to get about this. And the time Arlene just say, come to Crack House lah.
Right, that's nice, yeah.
So just come, and then I think that night was a full house,
Wow.
90, a lot of people are walking, like standing room, and it was just like amazing. And the time Rizal just say, just do it in I Love KL. I mean, do I Love KL in Crack House lah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, unfortunately, well, I mean, when you use an event space that is not kind of sponsored, you have to pay every month.
That's the whole thing
every
about
time I come, I have to pay
running
like,
a show. There's
pay
costs,
the rent.
yeah.
And the thing is, like you say lah, not full house. The time is when I had it lah, because the thing is, if let's say got at least can break even, like let's say you have 20 people come to cover the rental of the space, at least not earning money also is never mind. At least I don't need to dig money from my pocket. So, but the thing is, let's say it's full house, I get away with, I'm like, oh, okay. Or either I hit the healthy number of people, I'm okay. But when it's only like 10 people, 5 people, then I have to actually like dig money, my own pay or anything to just pay for the rental. And it gets very tiresome lah. And also that's why ended up, I did I Love KL for about a year lah, a year plus in a Crack House. But
now, how long has it been already? Like
for which one?
For I Love KL, how long have you been running that show already?
Since January 2018.
Since January 2018. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long endeavor.
It's like already 2 years old, So 2 years plus already.
Oh man.
So it was like, it's quite long lah. It's like, but the thing is, somehow I had a bit of a misunderstanding with Crack House lah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bit of a dramatic stuff happening, and but the thing is, I could have handled it much better.
It's okay. I mean, you live and learn, but it's still like, for me, it still doesn't change the fact that like when it comes to I Love KL, it's that was like one of the first times where I got like more stage time than usual. It was the first time that I was asked to like perform last, like headline, so to speak. It's also like I also noticed that how come like some of the acts that I see coming to I Love KL, like these people, they never...
Never seen before one.
I've never seen them before. And they seem like they've done this before. How are they not in the regular circuit?
That's a very good question, actually. I mean, not to say good question, good observation.
Mm.
The thing is, I do notice, like, especially for the all-female show, there is actually a lot of female comedians around. But the thing is, somehow they felt that the current comedy scene, they are not as I wouldn't say that it's unfriendly or what, but I just felt that it is like, maybe to them they feel like
it's mostly guys.
Yeah, so they feel like they don't really want to like come every week, you
Yeah.
know. But for me, I'm a bit like shameless lah, in short lah. So I actually come every week. I don't really bother, you know, that kind of thing. I do my own stuff, you know. But the thing is, for a lot of female comedians, they were like, I don't think I want to. But the moment I get them for the all-female show and all, they were like, yeah, I want, you know, that kind of thing. So they it's like, to them, it is like an exclusive thing. They like it and they just come, and it's like so-called the solidarity lah.
Yeah.
So they actually, that's how I actually get. And the time Harif actually was quite shocked, because Harif was like, who are these people, you know, like, how come there are so many, you know, and most of them I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like, I said there are a lot, but not many active one lah. So I say that the active one so far lah is myself, and then Nuha, and then Shak,
Yeah.
Arina recently. I mean, a bit more frequent lah. Then and some like Kalmani or all lah. But the most of them are like, they are hibernating one.
Yeah,
Until the female show only, they were like, yeah, let's come out.
Yeah, I remember, because I noticed, even I've noticed this, like, it's not like the local scene is purposely trying to exclude like females and all this kind of stuff. It's just that it just so happens that most of the time,
all men show.
it's just dudes lah, it's just dudes left, right, center lah.
Yeah.
And it's not like the guys are telling the girls not to show up or whatever.
No.
It's just, I don't know whether it's nature or whether it's nurture. I don't know what the issue is. But somehow, like with your I Love KL, it's somehow like it's not an issue lah. I don't know whether it's because it's a I mean, okay, I know it's gender fluid, but it's like it's a show that's not run by a guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know whether it's that.
Maybe. And the thing is, I would say that it's because for me, because as I said, my show is actually a curated open mic. I did not like say, okay, all the 20 people, they can just show up anytime.
Yeah.
So for me I'm like saying, okay, but the thing is, I wanted a balanced mix of people, you know, like, that means I want a mix of international act and a local acts. I also want a mix of both gender, or even if, let's say, you are queer also, I would love to have, you know, the kind of thing. So everyone, I want to have like different variety. From, of course, different background and all lah. So for me, I will make sure that the ratio is kind of balanced. Because the thing is, for example, now my open mics, because the international people, they are all like aware. Do you know that the August mic is already half of them are from America?
Really?
But yeah, this is just a so-called exclusive info lah, like to share. Because the thing is, my July show haven't buat lagi. But the thing is, these people, they all saw, they're like, can I jump on? I say cannot, because I want to keep it to a number where it's healthy for everyone and it's not too long. So I will just do like, at least it's a 2-hour show and everyone is done and not tired. But the thing is, these people are like, hey, never mind, I want your August show. I want to be on your August show. So, but the thing is, I said, I told myself, I said that enough, ate enough already, because I want to make sure that it is a balanced mix. Like,
you don't
I need to have locals as well.
Yeah, you don't need to turn into I Love America.
I love USA,
I love
you know.
USA, yeah.
It's like, so that's why I say that at one point I have to tell them that if, let's say, they really want to participate in my mic, I might just run a separate one. That means just one that is purely like maybe a Zoom one, not even broadcasted or anything. Just those like for them to jump on and just experience me hosting a show. That's about it. Okay. But I won't really do like a curated one, because curated, I want it to be a unique experience. It's like, I don't want it to be like chincai everyone. Then after that, I also get messed up, because for me, I don't like unpredictability. So for me, I want to know who is the people in my show, so I can introduce them properly, and also work out what I want to do lah, rather than to like have 20 people that I don't know how to expect and just say, oh, introduce by name, can lah, but then it's become like not really a special feeling. So I want to, like, in a way, before bringing the act out, I want the act to know that they matter, they are unique, you know, they are from a background that is unique, and let's hear what this person has to say.
Yeah.
So that is my aim lah for I Love KL. So that's why I say that, okay, at one point of time, I need to like say that full already, because I want the local acts to be part of it. So my emphasis nowadays is the headliner have to be a Malaysian-based comedian. So like, for example, Garu, the most recent online mics is Garu, Second one is who? Garu, and then after that is Simtong is the one current one, and then also we have Michael Sadi, because at least these are all KL based comedians.
Yeah.
So because it's I Love KL, it's like of course it makes sense that I host because I'm the showrunner.
Yeah.
Well, this is my opportunity to shine.
So you want the job, you create the job for yourself.
Yeah, create for myself, book myself, yay.
Yeah.
So, but I want the headliner to be a KL-based comedian. That is my thing lah. So that's it lah. So I need to make sure the ratio is there lah.
One thing I do want to ask though, because again the scene I don't think it's just a local problem. I think like all over the world, like stand-up comedy is very very male dominated. All right, it's mostly guys. Whether or not they are trying to oppress like other genders or other people, I don't think that's usually the case. Especially at least here, I don't think it's the case. But it's strange, right? Like when you set up this thing where it's curated and you're actively looking for a certain ratio, like you want representation and all kind of stuff, right? Somehow that creates this environment that feels like, oh, it's a nice platform for everyone and everyone's included. But then when it goes to the regular open mics, it's like, oh no, like, it's always a boys' club. and then you get this thing from the guys who are like, hey, but like no one, they want to come, they come lah. Why like how come like they don't come, and then suddenly like
we are the problem. As
if suddenly we're the problem and we're not including them. Like what is this? So it's like a very double-edged sword, right? So I don't know. Where do you stand on this? Like, do you think that maybe like we were talking like at the first part of this, right, where upbringing and all that can be affected, where maybe boys are taught to be more assertive and trained that way, and that's a part of it, right? Maybe it's the DNA, whatever it is. So is it? I mean, where do you stand? Is it something where like, you know what, you want it, you fight for it, or do you feel that there needs to be this platform where like, you know what, okay, we need to curate this a bit?
Okay, that's a very good question, because for me, I feel that personally for myself, I'm okay to fight for it for a certain amount of extent. That means if I can fight, I will fight. But the thing is, I also have a sort of like a limit. If I feel that it is not working out, I won't fight anymore. Because the thing is, the energy that I used to fight, go against the current, if let's say there's a current or anything, it's like the way, if let's say you spend so much of time trying to fight against it, you can actually use the same amount of time and energy to focus on building stuff, building better things. I will only fight until a certain extent. If I feel that it's not going anywhere, I will just focus on like, say, okay, now let me just curate, because I feel that this is what is lacking, then I will curate my own one. So I will just curate my own thing, and I will set my own, in a way, set my own platform lah. Like for example, the main rule in my comedy show is no asshats. No asshats. It's simple. That means don't come in and just be mean lah. I mean, why do you have to? People are here. I mean, everyone we want to, okay, for the comedians, we want to build our act. We want to do well in our comedy lah. We want to do well, and we hope that audience are also supportive and be a good I mean, just share their genuine response. If it is not working, then they don't need to laugh. If there is funny, then they laugh. But not heckling and like pulling down the comedians or what lah.
There's always this issue of like okay, like when Joke Factory did that live Facebook live show, I saw the lineup. Then after a while, it took me a while lah, unfortunately. But then I was like, I pointed out to Harif. I was like, Harif, the lineup is all guys.
Yes.
Like, like, is this an oversight or something, or like, because I know Harif, like, by nature is very inclusive. Like, he's not trying to. And then afterwards he explained to me, yes, he actually did reach out to a few female comics.
Cannot make it lah.
They weren't available. Therefore, and for him, he said, I'm just getting whoever
available
is funny.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Meritocracy.
Yep.
But then somehow with me, like, as I understand that, I completely understand it. But somehow to me, like, it. Again, I don't know if I'm right on this, but it's just my gut instinct that tells me that even then we should at least try harder to have at least one female up there.
Yep.
I don't know why. I get the others like people's argument about, but they already tried to reach out and like no one is
it's fine,
available.
just let it go lah.
And this is not like a scene where like there's like 100 female comics out there waiting, chomping at the bit for this spot, right? It's like it's small scene. What are you gonna do? But even then, I'm like, but somehow it doesn't.
Yeah, you felt like it's like, why is it like all men show? As though KL comedy scene doesn't have any female, that kind of stuff.
I understand the process that led up to that, but I don't know. I just feel like it to me it seemed like the right thing to do, or the more right thing to do would be to go out of our way to try to
to at least like, I mean, even if you say you want to
show
get grade A, if grade A tak dapat, you that means there is a tier, you move down. Then the thing is, again, like you say lah, that means there's no need to, like, for example, if you can't find, you find a so-called tier C comedian, I mean, in your system, then you just say give them a 5 minutes lah. They don't need to tell a long jokes.
But then there is that thing that comes back that if you do that, right, then you will get that thing thrown back at you, saying
like,
that you
this
see
not the best.
This is not the best.
Again.
We want the best, and then like because like of this one spot, because we have to accommodate for this, we have to
put someone that is not like the best.
Which is, I don't know. Again, it's
very touchy.
Exactly.
Touchy issue lah. So, but the thing is, for me, what I mean, this is what in my view lah. For me, it's like I say that I always believe that yes, of course we want to look for the best, but the thing is sometimes it's a chicken or egg thing lah. It's like if let's say you don't give the person the opportunity, how do you know that the person is because the thing is over time, I mean, this one I also see I can see for myself lah that at one point of time I was like, I mean, I'm not up to standard. I mean, I'm still learning how to write a joke, but the thing is people do improve over time, and it is good to actually address that as well. So it's like, it's not just say that they are not the best, because you never know. It's like you never know where they are, because open mics and all, they do give you only a glimpse of what they can do, but you don't know actually what the other acts can do. And from what I see in my own group chat, I know that at least I counted lah, there are about 30 female comedians. Active or not active, that's another thing, but at least you can get a few. I mean, maybe just get one lah. But the thing is, somehow, if let's say you want to stick to the like so-called best, then it is kind of hard, because the thing is, best is like, it's very subjective again. Sometimes it's like, this is like a bit, it's touchy, because the thing is subjective, because who is best, because the thing is, I have seen comedians myself, but sometimes it's partially my way of processing jokes. There are some comedians that I personally don't get why they are funny. But the thing is, things speak for themselves, because the audience laugh. So things do speak for themselves. They are funny based on audience reaction. But for me, maybe I just can't relate, or maybe I don't get their joke. I am processing their joke half the time. So, but the thing is, I cannot say that, let's say they do ask me a spot in I Love KL, but that time I did not identify this person. But the thing is, when they do ask me a spot, I do give them. Because for me, I mean, I kind of think that if, let's say, different platform, like for example, if Joke Factory just want the best, it's okay. You can just keep it at that standard. But for me, my platform is, I want it to be kind of like an equal opportunity platform where even though you are still working things out, you have a chance. That means you can actually, it's just like,
okay, not to say that Joke Factory is not included.
No, I don't want to offend. Okay.
No, but again, this is a very touchy subject, and I don't think it only affects comedy. I'm sure it affects a lot of other sectors as well.
Yes.
But it's that lah, right? Like you want to make it a meritocracy, but then when there's no representation, somehow like it, to some it's fine, because they are looking from pure meritocracy standpoint. But sometimes it also seems like, if you have that representation, it sends out an even stronger message. Not to say that you don't have to be the best to get on, but it's just that, like it kind of just sends out the message where everybody has a shot. Everybody has a shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, when comics do approach me, but that time I have not seen, maybe I don't relate to their act that time, that particular time. So, but when they do ask me for spot, I don't deny them. For me, I say, yeah, sure, just jump on, the kind of thing. It's like, because for me, and I'm quite surprised by the outcome sometimes, because I think maybe it's also the environment, the atmosphere, because the thing is, even as a host, I make sure that it is an accepting place. That means I set the expectation of the audience to make sure that this is a supportive space. So please be kind, because comedy is not easy.
Yeah,
Start with that, and then that's when. And they surprise me sometimes, like those acts that I personally don't find funny at open mics. Sometimes when they perform on my mic, I was like, hey, not bad. You know, it's like, it's okay. You know, I was like, it's not as maybe I just don't get them that time. Or maybe I'm still processing their joke when I first heard them. But when I hear them the second time, I got their joke, you know. So I mean, I'm glad that I don't deny lah. Because sometimes I don't get them, but doesn't mean they are not funny.
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice to have this. I think it is that thing of... you know, like, people are not going out of their way to exclude, but sometimes there are people who you kind of need to go out of your way to include. And, you know, I know at some point everybody need to like focus on their own stuff, watch out for their own thing. They don't have time to go and save everybody out there, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, if you just go out of your way a little bit to be like, hey, maybe why not have someone that's different from me, or, you know, someone who you don't normally see. I think that helps create a very it sets up a very different environment, right? It sends a very different message out. And more often than not, it sends a very positive message out.
Yay!
Yeah. So I think on that note, so Juliana, before we forget.
Funny.
Gosh. Yeah, anything you wanna bring up?
Anything
You wanna plug? You wanna tell people about?
I will say that because I'm doing multiple shows even within a day.
If you spot a mic lying by the side of the road
or here also, it's like here,
Juliana will appear somewhere.
So the thing is, just follow my Instagram. So my Instagram is personal Instagram is @quirky Juliana. I know the spelling is a bit awkward. QUIRKY _ Juliana. The spelling of quirky itself is quirky.
Yeah. I will put that in the description.
Yes,
so
that will help.
You'll be fine.
And the second one to follow is I Love KL's Instagram. So I Love KL, one word, all small letters.
All right. So do remember, look out for I Love KL's upcoming shows and whatnot. And if you see Juliana on any upcoming shows and mics, make sure to show support as well. Thank you, Juliana, for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steven, for having me.
Good one.